Welcome back, everyone. This is Akanar here with more Blueprints. It is time to start day 21. Let's get it going. I can't even really begin to describe day 20. I don't even think I can recap all of the things that happened in day 20. If you missed it for whatever reason, highly recommended to check out the day 20 draft because it was so much fun and we did so many things. And as a result of doing so many things, I decided that it was finally time to go ahead and it was time for me to review my notes as we see our steps from both the sauna and the apple orchard, which we were able to unlock. It's funny, we're on day 21, which I think on the calendar puts us at 11:28. So, and that was the code that opened the apple orchard. But, so it's just a fun little bit of coincidence there. We'll pick up our allowance and not overthink that bit. But one of the things that I did do as a result of having garnered so many different pieces of information now from the house and outside the house, the underground, we're covering so much more of this estate than I would have ever thought. I decided it was time to review some notes. I went and reviewed some notes, and that is available as part of a special bonus video. If you are at least a Roundtable member, as I mentioned before, I try to do these little extra like DVD behind-the-scenes bonus videos for you all, and that is one of those things that you'll get to see me brainstorming and poring over my notes, trying to make connections and various putting different puzzle pieces together, as well as a little bit of behind the scenes. I show a little bit of my behind the scenes video editing as part of that as well. But anyway, if that's there, if you want to check that out. But the big revelation from my brainstorming session was I put together the artwork, the word pairings from the artwork that we finally collected all of the different artwork pairings from all the rooms, and sure enough, there is a message. The message spelled out, the 44 character message is, if we count small gates, 8 dates crack 8 safes. I had to think for just a moment to make sure I remembered the correct wording, but if we count small gates, 8 dates crack 8 safes. Okay, that is very, very exciting to finally have that information, because we now, for the first time, have some sort of direction on the various safes. There's so many different safes in the boudoir, and the office, and the drawing room, the study. And so far, I haven't got a single hint anywhere that has stood out to me as, aha, that looks like a safe code. Now, we finally have some sort of direction. We haven't exactly been told which specific dates to use, but apparently, if we include the small gate, which I think is a reference to the orchard, then there are 7 more safes. I've only been able to think of 6 that we found so far, so there must be one other safe somewhere that we haven't discovered yet. Or maybe it was 5. I'm not sure exactly what my count was, but there's 1 or 2 safes that we haven't even found yet. But the real question is, what dates are we going to use to open those safes? I have some ideas, some of them more promising than others. I think maybe the archives. The archives has a whole bunch of dates next to those newspaper clippings. Could some of those open some safes? And I have some other ideas as well that we'll discuss as we're going. Why don't we start drafting, though? I always like to talk a little bit before we jump into a draft. But why don't we get a draft started? Root cellar versus shrine versus trading post. At some point, I want to get the shrine again because it is nice. It is nice to kind of have a buff that's running for several days. The shrine guarantees you to have a gold sink right off the bat as you're going. So you can, especially with as many steps as we got, as many steps as we have, we're guaranteed to make it back out to the shrine pretty much to dump whatever gold we've got left at the end of the day. But having so many extra steps is also a really good argument to go with a trading post. The trading post, I think, is what I'm going to take here, and we're going to try. We have so many contraptions left to make still, and we want to get our hands on something like a magnifying glass. We have a lot of rooms to look for extra stuff in with a magnifying glass. We now know that the compass is used to make at least one contraption that we have not done yet, the electromagnet. And maybe the magnifying glass is used in a contraption as well. We want to do more stuff with the workshop. That's one of my big stretch goals here. So I think we're going to take the trading post. I do want to reactivate that shrine buff at some point, but having so many extra steps today makes me have a really good feeling. I don't even know if I had to go in here. I maybe wasted a couple of those steps, but you know, when you have 90 steps, what does it matter? What does it really matter if you waste a couple of them? Because we just can't do anything yet in here, right? And there's no item to pick up. We already got the allowance token with the Morajai box. And so, yeah, just a couple extra steps wasted. No big deal. We're just, you know, when you're living this sort of luxurious life in the steps category, you can afford to do this. So I do have a wild idea about the Blackbridge Grotto and the admin key code that we might use there, but we'll wait on that. We will just note that I've got an idea there to check out. There is something still, one thing that I did forget to do as part of my notes review was I was thinking, and I guess I didn't make a note of it to remind myself, but I did want to review at some point the cinematics that we've got from Alzara. Maybe the next time that we get another Rumpus Room and we get presumably a fourth Alzara cinematic or prediction prophecy, then there was something involving the entrance hall in one of those cutscenes, and I want to go back and I want to look at that again. I have not taken notes on that since we viewed it the first time, which was a few days ago now, I think. But that's one thing on my list of eventual. It's a puzzle. It's a question mark that's in my mind. So with that in mind, why don't we start once again with a mid draft? I like the mid draft for a few reasons. The one that I'm thinking of, in addition to giving us more information before we draft the sides, is we really want to now be looking for the security room as soon as we can. This Blackbridge Grotto is, it had not occurred to me. There's a big deal with this. The fact that you now can get the laboratory terminal. That's the real important thing. The fact that we unlocked the Blackbridge Grotto using the laboratory, I sort of didn't think about. The idea that you don't need the laboratory to get access to its terminal. You just need security, and security is far more common than the laboratory. That's huge. We now can run so many more experiments as soon as we get security online. That is so big. So I'm excited to do that. And one of the ways, I think once you draft into rank 2, that's when you start seeing rooms like security and the courtyard, the drawing room maybe as well. That one I'm not sure about. That might be as early as rank 1. But I feel like there are some rooms that only start showing up once you've actually drafted into rank 2. I could be wrong about that. Don't tell me for sure. But we also have 5 keys that we're starting today with because of the clock tower. So we're starting off on a good foot. Let's see what we get as our first pick up the middle. And I think this is going to be a hallway. Let's just give ourselves as many doors as possible. That doorway into rank 3 right off the bat. And then depending on how things go through the entrance hall, we can decide how we draft through the hallway. I don't need to pick up that key right now. Let's not forget about it, hopefully. But we're not going to take a dead end here when they're giving us a very nice hallway that points like this. So let's do that. And then let's try to give ourselves, we could take that key if we wanted. We don't need to be that conscious of our steps, but it's fine. We already have 5 keys. I'm going to draft to the east wing now because I would like to, while we still have a den and the other 3-way rooms, this would be a great place to put one of those. So let's see if they can be so kind as to give us a 3-way. Not in this case. We're going to pick, here, do you want a kitchen to get even more steps? We don't have a hovel. That was one thing I was like, it would be so fitting if we got a hovel today, because I think day 21, we've had a hovel on day 7 and we had a hovel on day 14. I was thinking, are we going to get, 3 weeks in a row? I don't know what day of the week this is, but this has been our hovel day for the last 2 weeks. It would be so good to have a hovel with 90 steps. didn't even get offered it. It's okay though. Do we just take, I think we just take another key here. I don't think I want the kitchen, right? Like this is not where I want to be spending my coins. I want a commissary, or we want, you know, stuff like the bookshop. The reading nook gets us the library, which could then get us the bookshop. And we really want, I've got 2 books in there for sure that I am much more interested in now that we have learned as much as we have involving the history of Fen Ares. So, Arinda Ares and other countries, we need to be learning more about these countries, if nothing else, to be able to put together sigils in behind sanctum doors. So the reading nook is where we're going to go, and I think because we already have 2, well, let's draft the reading nook and then let's draft in the other direction. Let's just draft all 3 doors here at the entrance hall and see what we get, and then we can decide which direction we will take things. Here's where we can take a pantry, and then we might go ahead and just take the coins from the pantry just to give us as many coins as possible, and then we can do what? Probably if we're going from, I would like to just get 1 more gem before I draft through the library, because if the library gets us, you know, a room like I don't know, the attic, would we take the attic? Probably on a day when we've got the trading post, even if it kind of limits our options or closes us off from getting a 45 room house. Now, as I think about it, we could also take the closet. And maybe the closet is actually correct because the pantry and the hallway both would have doors going into the same room. So this kind of makes sense to put a closet here, and then you could draft out of the hallway and hope to get a T-shaped room or a hallway, not a hallway, but a, what am I thinking? The spare bedroom that points over to the west wing. This might be where I put the closet, to be honest. Another argument, when you got the trading post, take as many items as you can get. And the closet could have a die as well. Let's do that. Let's take the closet and let's see what we get. We do get a die and a key. Fine. Kind of wanted gems. That was another reason to take the closet there. I want to get that 3rd gem just to give myself maximum options when I do draft out of the library here in a moment. Assuming, you know, there's no particular guarantee that the library is actually going to point the way we want it. So we'll see how that turns out. I am going to draft the hallway first, at least toward the west wing, to see if we can get that room that does point us to the west wing. Let's try here. We do get a corridor, and I think I want that, but maybe I just take the parlor and say, let me guarantee myself the gems here. But the corridor it just makes my floor plan so much more, you know, it's always my little compulsion to try to paint within the lines and make everything line up aesthetically pleasing. But I think it's not just aesthetics. I do think that, you know, it's a consideration of how you draft your floor plans. Angling rooms in particular directions. This just gets us to the west wing, guaranteed. And then if we get a T-shaped room from there, we're guaranteed to draft ranks 1 and 3 in the west wing. Let's go ahead and take the corridor, and then we'll also actually draft this doorway. Will I draft this doorway here? Because this does, if my theory is true about opening up ranks 2 and 3, I don't know. I feel less strong about a rank 3 being a barrier or what's the word? Unlocking new options in your pool. I feel less confident about that. I was just thinking, like, at what point do we put the dark room in our options? I don't want to see the dark room too soon, but I would love to see a security room here. That would be maybe the perfect door, the perfect room to go past this door. So let's try drafting this and see. Okay, so we could give ourselves a boudoir. The boudoir would be a room that has a safe, and we are looking to try to look for try to see if safes can open. So maybe we just go ahead and take the boudoir here. It is interesting that they're giving us 3 bedrooms. It's between spare bedroom and boudoir. I don't think I would use a redraw here, but when you know you have a Geist bedroom available, we're not getting the 4 extra dice from the tomb today, but even the +2 being there in the Geist bedroom does make me feel a little more, It just feels like dice aren't nearly as scarce as they used to be. So we could redraw here. These aren't thrilling. But I like the idea of just being able to try out some dates on safes. Can we crack a safe for once? Let's take the boudoir and let's go ahead and we will draft in that direction. Once again, I am also still looking for gems. So if we draft like a parlor through the boudoir, I would love to pick up those gems before we head back to the library or the nook and maybe draft out of the library. We may want to re-examine this picture at some point with the magnifying glass. I don't know if we've ever looked at it with the magnifying glass. It just occurred to me that maybe there was a detail here with the safe that could stand out if we actually did look at it with the magnifying glass. And I don't think we ever have. I feel like there are potentially a lot of rooms, not just the master bedroom, but other places that we might need to re-examine stuff with the magnifying glass. Because I've just sort of, there's certain things like this photo that I've chalked away as like, oh, I don't need to look at that anymore because the only info that it was telling me was that there was a safe here. But who knows? Maybe there's more to this photo than I was giving it credit for. For now, what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to look at my notes, and what I have are all of the dates from the newspaper articles in the archives. And one date in particular that could be the most important of them all is the date of the Royal Crown or the Ruby Crown heist, which we do know. It hadn't occurred to me. One of the things we did with my note-taking, my note review bonus video is we did go over what we found in the safe house, the museum map, where they had sketched out their plan on how to break into the Royal Museum. And there were, a lot of details on there that are probably not super important. But one of the things that we did learn was the name of the prince, Prince Learson. And I think it actually does say on there, that Prince Learson, his original restored home was donated to the city of Fen upon his death. So this Prince Learson is deceased. But that is where the crown was stored. That was the building. It was his former house that our mother and the other Blackwater insurgents broke into in order to steal the crown. So that was a cool detail that we learned there. And also we learned, we saw the name King Tiskin that was mentioned, the Tiskin Monument. And we also had heard that name mentioned on one of the Morajai box descriptions that we found in the Inner Sanctum room. Although there was a minor little thing that I'm still wondering about. It was General Teskin. There's Tiskin versus Teskin, I versus E. I don't know if that's an oversight or if there really is like a alternate spellings of this guy's name. But regardless, it sounds like maybe he is the current ruler, King Tiskin. And either way, we know he is the one who ended the War of the Fifth Era, or at least as the way the history books are currently written. But yeah, we also have the archives, which gives us the dates of these newspaper articles. And there's the one that talks about the jewels being stolen in the Royal Museum heist. And it's the same day, right? They talk about the fact that the museum authorities were alerted in the middle of the night. So this newspaper article does seem to be talking about this, the day of. I think the times that were listed on that safe house sketch were listed as, it was 1:30 in the morning. I think the sacred hour was 1:30 a.m., and that was when they were stealing the crown. So September 2nd, 0902. That does not seem to be a date that at least works on this safe. Now, there are several other dates listed on these newspaper articles. We've got February 22nd, which is where our mother disappears. So 0222. And, I'm assuming that just like 1128, the month is going to be before the day, and you would add a 0 to have a 4-digit code. That's what makes sense to me. There's also a November 17th, Marigold drops publisher, so 1117. We could also try 1128 just to see if that one also works here. Like the fact that 1128 was in the heart I don't know what day, what was supposed to have happened on that day, but the fact that it's inscribed in a heart possibly means that, you know, maybe that's the day that Simon and Lady Epson were married or engaged, or it was an important day for them. Who knows? We've also got November 11th, publisher and author detained by Red Guard. 1111. That doesn't seem like, would they really have a code that's all ones? Okay, I've gone through all of the 6 dates that were listed in the archives. None of those had any success. The other ideas that I've got include what? I've got like the dates from the various, both Denny and Robert Nagula, their logbooks. Those feel very low probability. There's the fake passports that our mom used. There was a date when they were issued, which is January 10th. That doesn't feel like that's going to do it. No. There are also the dates from each of those foreman's logs that we have found all over the place. Also, not sure that that's going to be... those feel pretty low probability. There's also the years. The other idea I had were the years on various books that have been published. Swinburne was published in 1985. Realm and Rune was published in 1905. All of these feel a little bit like we're throwing, you know, whatever. We're seeing if something's going to stick. Just throw whatever we can at the wall. So let me go through these and see. There's also the Red Prince rejection letter that was in the attic. That one feels also like that would be a super long shot. No luck there. Fixed Stars was 1809. That was the year of publish. The year of publication. Realm and Rune, 1905. No dice there. Swinburne, 1985. These are... It's not going to be a year. A year is not a date. So I don't feel like this really wouldn't make sense. 1952 was the year of the In Eclipse Ball from the ballroom photo. That's not it. What about day 1? 1107. That's not going to be it, right? And then the foreman's logs had July 2nd. We have March 1st. I'm just going with the month and the day on these because that's what it felt like. 1128. Nope. So none of the foreman's logs did the trick. The only 2 that I have left on my list are the dates that were mentioned in the hovel. Oh, I didn't try the logbook ones. Okay, so there's Denny's logbook, which he started on February 25th. Why would this open the safe in the boudoir? That's the thing, is that it probably is a date that's going to be important to Lady Epson. Wouldn't it be? And it makes me wonder if maybe we need her journal, right? We still have to open her journal somehow, but we need a key to open her journal. And I thought, well, maybe her key is in her safe in the boudoir, but we need... The key is in the safe, and that's how you get the diary, which has the code to open the safe. Figure that conundrum out. Okay, there were all of my wild ideas that I had. None of them did the trick, gosh dang it. So we're still searching for answers in the boudoir. I think, though, while we're here, we might as well go ahead and draft the boudoir and see what it offers us. Okay, I guess we'll take a den, because otherwise we're basically taking a dead end. And I did want that 3rd gem. So the den would do that for us. And then we could, if we want, go ahead and draft the den and see if we get... We might as well draft the den because we're going to be taking that gem. But also, you know... Do I want to save the gem? How do I want to structure this? If I get offered a security room, I want to take that as soon as I can, because I want to be able to start the laboratory experiments ASAP. Let's at least take the den, and we'll see if there's a chest here. There's no chest. So it's just the gem. Like, I would kind of like a parlor that points into rank 4. That would kind of be... the way that because right now our biggest, the biggest resource we need is gems. Gems. Let's see what gets offered out of the den. Let's just draft over here. Let's just draft while we are here. Okay, mailroom. We don't have a package on the way, or we don't have a package that's waiting for us. So that makes no sense to really take a dead end there. I guess the only room that really makes sense is the dining room, because I want to be able to draft up the West Wing. We're just not in the market for steps necessarily, but this is the room that keeps our draft going. And then we would probably just go ahead and draft from the dining room because, well, if we get elbows offered, I would actually want them to come from the corridor and potentially point down into that room at the, like, if we get the patio offered, well, I was going to say if we got the patio offered from the corridor, but I seem to remember there being no soil on rank 2 on the West Wing. So I don't know that the patio could be offered. Either way, we're taking a dining room, and I don't see a reason to go through the dining room just yet. Oh, yeah, and we have that lunchbox as well. We're going to be so good on steps today. The lunchbox, when we get to rank 5, is there. So now, let's head back. I think now is when we will... Let's try to get the parlor through the corridor. I want to just get that parlor now as soon as we possibly can. Let's do that here and just get that out of the way. Hopefully get that out of the way. And we'll see. Let's just see what shows up. There's a pantry. I think I take that over the drawing room here. I don't need to connect back to the dining room. So we're good on keys at the moment. The break room is not necessary. So we just take a pantry, and that lets us keep the 45 room dream alive. Boom. Coins are good, because at some point we're going to get... We'll hold off on getting that. Just in case somehow we get our hands on a salt shaker here with a walk-in closet, we'll hold off on the orange, because we know we're coming back this way. Just a little slight little min-max there. An office. An office. I don't think we want to do an office here. That spends 2 of our gems, and we don't get that much value out of the spread. But at the same time, we would guarantee ourselves a terminal. We haven't got that security room yet. The office would guarantee us the ability to start our laboratory experiments. Interesting. But if we take the storeroom, we are holding on to those 2 gems. We're adding a gem instead, and we're adding 10 coins, and we're adding a key. I think it's and we're putting a dead end as well in a place where a dead end makes sense. I do want to do laboratory experiments, but I'm not that desperate where I would pass up on the gem here. So not going to spend my resources yet on the office. So let's get that. Let's get all those resources stockpiled here early on to go along with our healthy helping of steps. And now we get our orange, and we draft from the reading nook. And hope the library doesn't point in a screwy direction. Please, game, be nice to me. Any items in here? No items in the nook, but we draft. No, this stupid game. I hate it. I hate this game. Why does it do this, man? It can be so troll sometimes. Just such a frickin' troll. One reason not to draft mid at the entrance hall. Because what if you can't draft your library? We'll take our parlor here. Fine. We'll take our parlor and get gems. Gems, gems, gems. But I missed the chance. Because we got a book on the way, right? We got a drafting strategy book. And we want to check. We did get an apple. I guess I shouldn't complain. Because I sure need the steps. Okay, all right. We want to read our drafting strategy book at some point, though. Alrighty, the other 2 boxes are true. That could be correct. The other 2 boxes are blue. Well, that's definitely false. The other 2 boxes are empty. Oh, so that could also be true or false. I have a feeling in these cases, the one statement that you know for certain, doesn't that tend to be the one with the gems? Let's work this out logically though, but I feel like it's the white box. Let's presume for the moment that this statement is true. The other two boxes are true. Actually, we now know this is false because we know this has to be false, right? So we know this is false, which means this has to be true. And therefore it is in the black box, right? There we go. Logic prevails once again. Logic, so far, as of yet, undefeated. Is there anything about this painting with Mr. Herbert that we've not noticed? Is there a special switch somewhere that's actually going to open the secret safe that is hidden in the parlor? I wouldn't put it past this game to have some crazy secret like that. Like there's going to be some special little switch on one of these lights. If you stand still for 5 seconds, all of a sudden, like in the cloister, you get to depress the lampshade, and then another angel of death comes popping out of the wall. Something along those lines, probably what would happen. Okay, let's go. There's our security room. Let's fucking go. Easiest security room of my life, especially with 7 gems. We get to do experiments on top of everything else. Let's fucking go. Okay, experiment time. We also just take care of our evergreen housekeeping, which is funny. I said evergreen, which I wasn't even thinking of the fact that this terminal is green. Okay, so, all right, what does that matter? It doesn't matter at all. Why do I think about these things? Because I'm a dingus. Keycard system. We do our evergreen housekeeping on the evergreen monitor to make sure that our security level is down to low, because today we got no keycard. Even though last time our keycard, that was the one disappointment of day 20, is that our keycard didn't do a damn thing with that elevator in the basement. What the heck was up with that? Got to figure that one out still. Okay, but now we go back to log into the network, right? Right, because this lets us access an offline terminal. That's what we do here now, and we obviously... I mean, it's not obvious, because there could be days where you would want to access the office. You know, if you had the blessing of the chef, and you had a conference room, and you wanted to be able to spread gold directly to that conference room, or you really wanted the gold to buy the books that you've gotten from drafting the bookshop or whatever. You could have other reasons to do things, but I think without other information or as a general default, the remote terminal access is going to make the most sense at the laboratory. That's the one I want to do. Laboratory is where we are going to go, especially because it feels like you can draft the office far more commonly than the laboratory. Laboratory it is. Experiment time. Oh man, this is fun. If only I could have been doing these experiments so much sooner. But hey, we actually didn't really... I guess, did we have a time? Yeah, there was one day way back when where I could have drafted a boiler room next to the laboratory. We actually drafted the laboratory first and then got offered a boiler room, and I passed it up because why? I don't remember now. It was so long ago. But we could have had this Black Bridge Grotto online far, far sooner. But you get the stuff when you get it, and now we get to experiment today on day 21. All right, so our effects, I always like to look at these first. We could gain 1 key for every 2 hallways in your house. That's a good effect, but we do have 9 keys already. Set your dice to 2. That could be a very good effect. I mean, that could be a super awesome effect because all of a sudden we just spend dice like there's no tomorrow. Like we're just at the casino permanently. We could also gain 1 star. So permanent progress being added for future runs. So then what do we have? We have actually immediately, we could take one of these right away. I don't think that's what we want. What are the other 2 though? While drafting, if you draw a drawing room floor plan. While drafting, if you draw a drawing room floor plan, or each time you eat an apple. Man, this each time you eat an apple, I don't know when you would pick this unless you have like a secret garden key and you know you're going to be spreading a bunch of fruit in the house. But it just feels like eating apples is such an infrequent thing to happen, even though we just ate one in the parlor. Which is maybe even more reason not to pick it here. I mean, my instinct is to do this. while drafting, if you draw a drawing room floor plan, set your dice to 2. You know, this gives you more chances to draw, right? If you're setting your dice to 2, you do have to get it to proc at least once, but once you do, you can kind of just keep re-rolling, because then you're going to have so many chances. You might even just re-roll both dice just to make sure that you get a drawing room, because then your dice get boosted back up to 2. Because you don't have to draft. This is the important thing, is you don't have to draft the drawing room floor plan. You just need to draw it. I think this is the right effect, and we can have some fun with this and do a lot of re-rolling today. We just don't need to, and then we also, I guess, don't need to prioritize a Geist bedroom. It's one less dead end that we have to worry about putting somewhere. And that's fine, because we don't really have any particular bedroom synergies going. We don't really need to do a nursery to get that going, because we have so many freaking steps. And we already have a dining room. This one, if nothing else, sounds fun to me. And I love getting more dice. So this is the one that my value brain and my reroll brain, my Gamba brain, wants to do. So we're doing it. Experiments. This is so freaking cool, man. We get to do security as the laboratory. Amazing. I love it. And okay, now we draft downward into now the 45. Oh, look at that. That is a utility closet, folks. Okay. Well, now we take the utility closet and we are turning that security right back up to high, because now those security doors, we want them everywhere. Speaking of nursery, the nursery shows up here. So yeah, we take that utility closet. I don't think we re-roll, because I don't really want to get a drawing room here. Like a dormitory is what I would think of, like a drawing room dead end. It's probably a good thing to remind myself what drawing rooms are available, as just so we're going. So as we're going, I at least have them in mind. There's the drawing room itself, of course, but we would never get that offered here. We already did get the reading nook offered. Those are our 2 drawing rooms at standard. I mentioned the dormitory. There is the greenhouse, but that would not be offered here either. Or would it? Would they offer us the greenhouse down here in the corner? Maybe. They do have the study. The study is a room, but it is unusual. So it's not a good chance that we would get it offered on a reroll. But that is something to think about. And of course the library, but we wouldn't draft the library here either. Oh, interesting. The Chamber of Mirrors is one of these rooms that is a drawing room. We do want to get the Chamber of Mirrors again at some point when it's not actually dead-ending our draft, which I didn't know it would the first time we drafted it, the only time we've drafted it. Obviously, we can't get that here. I'm just thinking ahead for later down the road. So when we do get a decision point that we actually want to consider, we can. I don't see any reason to turn off the dark room there. We might come back here later to turn on the dark room. We'll see if we get it. Now we turn the security level back up. It would be nice. What I was thinking of is the fact that I think the observatory would give us, if we get the observatory today, I think that gets us the Southern Cross, which means that 4-way rooms, or what is that? I think it means 4-way rooms are more common. So that could be an increased chance to get a Chamber of Mirrors today. Just something to think about. Something to think about. Here, this is a laundry room. Is it ever a laundry room here? A laundry room. I need to remind myself. We're not connecting it to the boiler room, so we only have the 3 options, which are, I think it's 10. I'll just remind myself to be sure, but I think I know these ones. They are the 5 coins to exchange gems for coins, 5 coins to exchange keys for gems, and 10 coins to exchange keys for coins. That is an interesting one. That is an interesting one. We could spend... It would be... Slightly better, probably, to have 6 keys and 9 gems here. I guess we would have 5 keys and 9 gems because we would spend 1 gem to get the laundry room. So we could, and we have 40 coins already, so spending 5 of them to swap our coins for, sorry, for keys for gems would be okay, but it would also dead end us. And I'm not sure I want to do that. And we would not be able to do any of the fun shenanigans with steps. That's the one thing here, like swapping like coins for gems and then gems for steps or something like that. I mean, coins for gems would not be a crazy play. Just taking the laundry room to do coins for gems could be pretty silly, right? We could, that might, all of a sudden the game might say, oh, you have 40 gems, now I'll give you the study. And you can do just as many frickin' rerolls as you ever want. At the same time, as silly as the laundry room can be, not just silly, but very, very powerful, I still don't want to limit my options this much to start right now. I want to keep the draft going in this direction. I would love to actually just keep drafting up the east wing. I don't want to take a left turn here. So maybe I could consider doing a redraw. We've been offered this kitchen like 4 times. I do feel like the game has a sense of humor sometimes. Oh, you got 72 steps. I heard you like steps. I'm going to go ahead and take the bedroom here. I'm tempted to use my redraw to try to get a T-shaped room that continues up the east wing directly, because that just feels a little bit nicer. But I'm going to go ahead and settle for the bedroom here, and then we can have our die to use if we don't get a room that points us into rank 4 at this point here. So we'll take the bedroom. Hopefully we get an extra item. We do get a coin purse. Nice. Okay. We're really in the market now for a gold sink. Would love to get our hands on one of those expensive shops. Just maybe not yet, though, because they're if it's a casino that points upward, I'll consider it. You've got to be kidding me. Well, that's why we save. That's why we have a die. Because not only could we, we're probably going to get more dice. We could even get one right now if we get a. I might take a drawing room here if it points us into the rank 4. So redraw it is. And that's a break room. Perfect. Perfect. We take the break room, and we might as well just keep on drafting in this direction. I don't see a reason to turn tail and go to the dining room. We are not desperate for a garage. Definitely not at this point that we have a break room. So we just kind of want a passageway or something that gives us as many doors as possible. Would I even take an archives? Not sure about that. But we'll at least take the break room here. And we go ahead and get our keys, or key. We'll see what exactly. Check for extra items. First, there is in fact a coin on the counter. Pick that up. Now we do our dartboard. 3. Then we have 7 plus 8, which is 15, minus 14 is 1, times 12 is 12. Okay. 11 minus 3 is 8. Times 1 is 8. Divided by 4 is 2. We have 2. There doesn't appear to be any subtractions. So times 2 is 4. Times 10 is 40. Divided by 20 is 2. Okay, there we go. And we do get 2 regular keys. We have so many keys. That clock tower really started us off on the right foot. So we might as well just keep on drafting from here. Let's go through the break room and open up rank 4. I'm telling you, man, this game has a sense of humor, does it not? It's like, hey, this guy's favorite room is the weight room. He just asked for a room that has as many doors as possible. Oh man, this game. I love this game. It's the best. I do not want to take a weight room here. I do not want to take it, man. But also, I have a dining room. It's just steps, guys. It's just steps. They are a resource. And we did just turn up the security level to maximum. And so the weight room having security doors would be would be just perfect for us. But we have keys. We don't really care about. We're going to be able to open every single door that stands in our way. I don't think we're going to need any help with doors. We just need the opening doors, that is. We're not going to need any help in that department. We just need access to doors. And that's what the weight room does give us. I'm not going to do that to myself in this case, though. That is even as loose as I am with spending steps these days, I'm not gonna split 72 in half. That's just too much value lost. I'm sorry. We got to make it back out to the trading post, which, by the way, we only have the one item so far. We really need to get our hands on some items. So the spare bedroom is a good way for us to do that, because sometimes the spare bedroom has items. So we'll take the spare bedroom, and then we'll hope to get some sort of passageway or something that's not a red room. It is interesting now knowing a little bit more of the history of this place, Fen Ares, and how red it is, or the strong red association, and how negative the red rooms tend to be. But also, yeah, at the same time, we've drafted the weight room so many times to great success. So hopefully we'll get a chance at some point to get in that workout. Okay, spare bedroom. Let's draft. Man, okay, they're trying to give us the red rooms here, but I'm not going to take one here when I could just take a courtyard, because of course the courtyard has security doors sometimes. But again, doors don't matter. Opening doors doesn't matter. That's not the concern. We just need the doors. And in this case, we could get items as well by having the courtyard. The dark room is interesting because what if going back to the utility closet after we trip the fuse? You know what? Maybe I'm curious enough to try this. This might be a perfect time to try this because we can go back. We have so many steps. We can go back to the utility closet and see if powering on the dark room actually does reverse the curse of not being able to see floor plans. The only downside is we would miss out on whatever items there are in the courtyard, because there is a strong chance for there to be like a metal detector or a shovel. And on a day when you got the trading post, we do want to be prioritizing that. We'll start with the courtyard, and maybe I will think about taking the dark room in another circumstance here at some point today. I think I don't want to do that experiment just yet, though. We've already got our dice experiment online. Sure enough, there's a metal detector. Let's go. Sure enough, we do get that metal detector. And there's a security door as well. So that is the one that goes to the east wing. So why don't we start in that direction? Yes? One good reason to stay on the east wing is to get our hands on a master bedroom. We want to go back in the master bedroom, but we also do want to have a magnifying glass. Hopefully the trading post will help us get our hands on a magnifying glass. If I got offered a dark room here, I would probably take it. So maybe we'll draft the dark room on, if we have to draft a T-shaped room, drafting it on the east wing here as a dark room, I would much rather put it there than out in the middle of the house. Don't want to be putting dead ends out in the middle of rank 5 and 6 and whatnot. So let's do the security door first. They do give us... Aha! Wait a second. Wait a second. Why do I not have 2 dice? Is it going to happen after this? Maybe because we did draw a dormitory. So that should give us 2 dice. But I guess the experiment doesn't proc until after the fact. I guess that's how that works. Interestingly, the bunk room is being offered here in a situation when we do have exactly 2 hallways. This would be so much value from this doubling our keys effect. We would go 22 keys. We just, there's only so many rooms in the house. You're never going to use all those keys, especially when you have a freaking keycard system that's offline. Who knows? Maybe you would use all those keys. Maybe we'd get the locker room and we would open all those locker room doors again. But once you've opened all those doors in the locker room, there's not as much of an incentive. Oh, I'm a dingus. The dormitory is not a drawing room. It's an entry room. Duh. Why did I think? Of course, it is not a drawing room itself. That's why we don't have 2 dice. Yeah, okay. Reading is important. Understanding what rooms are actually offered here is important. This is an entry room. So I really don't want to take a dead end here. It just feels wrong. If I had a die here, I might actually use it to try to get a room. I wanted a T-shaped room to be able to get me back onto the east wing in both directions. But I think I'll settle for the office here. And then we could maybe take a dormitory or something next to the office. I think I'll settle for that and spend my... We don't have a gold sink yet, but we're hoping to pick that up. But we will take the office. And then we will, I think, just go ahead and draft through there. And then well, do we draft there first or maybe at the courtyard first? Because we would want to spread gold into the room that we draft at the courtyard, right? So let's draft this room as well so we get an additional place to spread our gold. And maybe, if we're lucky, we get a conference room. Maybe, just maybe. Instead, we could get a dark room. And I think I will take the dark room here now that it does not... I don't know. The dark room versus secret passage versus passageway. We're not really... We don't have a ton of gems. It's not like yesterday where we just had limitless gems at our disposal. We need to be a little bit wary about the gem count. So while I do want doors here, it does put us down to 3 gems if we take the passageway. But if I take the dark room, it does give us the ability here to test out my theory of whether or not you can deactivate or counteract the dark room's negative effect by simply turning the lights back on in the utility closet. And we would save gems. And we would only miss out on the door that goes up into rank 6. Which is important, right? We don't have a door into rank 6 yet. If it doesn't, if the utility closet does not counteract this negative effect, and we are drafting in the dark through the dark room, it's okay for us to draft a dead end below it, and it wouldn't be the end of the world if we ended up with a dead end to the left of the dark room. We still have the dining room, and if we can thread the needle, hopefully, we can get through to the rest of the house. So I think I will be a little bit greedy here. I'm going to save my gems with... save my gems. Just save my gems. What I will do is I will flip the fuse. I will take the opportunity to flip this fuse because we want to go back to the utility closet and get that to... We want to turn the lights back on. See what happens. My metal detector's going off. What did the metal detector find? Something is on the floor. It's a key that was almost underneath the rug. That's why I didn't see it. We're not going to spread gold just yet. Let's draft this room, and then we will spread gold. And we will more than happily use one of our 12 keys. A furnace, huh? The dead end that they give me is the furnace. Let's take the commissary. Aha! We drew the drawing room, and sure enough, we do get 2 dice. Now, interestingly, the way this works apparently is that the dice are only available to you for the next... You could not... I guess this is a way for... They don't want you to just be able to infinitely re-roll one particular pick. So we get our 2 dice, but we can't use them yet. So I think we obviously take the commissary here. I don't see a reason for us to try to make red rooms more likely. We don't have a shovel to dig the dig site in the furnace. This feels like a fairly easy commissary. And then we hope for gems. We want gems. Instead, what am I seeing there? Do I see a metal detector? That's the other thing, is that this is 50% off in the commissary today. But I think I see a metal detector there. Are you kidding me? Okay, hold on. Hold on. We have a trading post. We can go back outside and trade in the metal detector and then come back and buy another one. That's what we can do. Okay. Okay. We're definitely spreading gold now. We're definitely going to do that this second, especially when we have a metal detector still. Not that that affects the gold being spread per se, but obviously it affects our ability to find that spread gold. So let's spread the gold. That's been done. Exit. And now we go back to the trading post, don't we? Or do we take a look at the commissary first? Maybe we just take a look at the commissary first and see what's there. Spend those 2 extra steps. Let's just get the extra intel from the commissary. Yeah, the metal detector. Oh, unbelievable. Dude, this is a terrible commissary. Are you kidding me? We don't really need keys. We'll buy the gems. It's good there's at least gems here. But we don't really need the steps from the bananas either. Like, what is this? We did special order the metal detector. I forgot. That's right. We special ordered the metal detector. Even so, I feel like that's a really unlucky commissary. On a date when we've got the freaking commissary sale? That makes me a little bit sad, guys. Just a tad sad. Unintentional rhyme. Okay, fine. What we will do then is we're going to go back to the trading post, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That doesn't count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to also turn the utility closet, the lights back on in the dark room. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 to get back to the trading post. And then another 12 or so. It's going to be about 25 steps in total for us to... Now, here's the thing. We don't have to come back to the dark room necessarily. We could go back to the dining room. But we do want to see... If we're trading in our metal detector, we want to get another metal detector as soon as possible. With so many steps, I don't need to be overthinking this as much as I do, but I still don't want to be completely inefficient with my travel here. Let's go ahead and do that, though. Let's start by just collecting the gold that we've spread and also setting the utility closet, turning the dark room back on. We'll at least do that, and then also collect... We'll also trade in our metal detector because we're going to get another one at the commissary. And there's even coins in the utility closet as well. So it was even worth to come back here no matter what. All right, dark room back on. Check the inventory just to see. There is, there's actually 1 key. Does that mean that there's a key in the dark room as a result of the metal detector? We'll find out. 10 more coins to pick up, though. And 2 of them are right here. Ooh, there are some here in the closet, so we'll grab those as well. Metal detector doing a nice job telling us when another room has stuff in it, which is good. So we picked up 4 of the 10 coins, which suggests that there are some to pick up on the way to the dining room, which we may do at some point. At some point, we want to get to the dining room, for sure. I guess we can always just make a wish. I don't know that we want to make a wish, though. Like, we're just... Basically, we're storing coins for a future day that we might drain the fountain. It feels like at this point, it's just... You know, if we have nothing else to do at the end of the day, we'll do that. But otherwise, I don't see the point to do it right this second. Trading post, though. What do we get in exchange for the metal detector? A lock... Oh my god, that's not what I'm looking for. Okay, now here's the thing. If we trade this in, we would also be able to immediately trade the lockpick, right? As long as we're not trading one of these items for something like a key or a set of dice, then we could just keep trading. There's no, like, we don't have to spend coins or something to trade. So we make this trade every time, because why not? And then, of course, the lockpick kit could be traded for something else, which I think we do want. Well, it depends. Okay, it's a silver key, so maybe not now. The silver key is interesting, though, because the fact that it could get us a chance at something like a Chamber of Mirrors. But that's not what I was hoping for. The lockpick kit is not nearly as valuable to us when we have 11 keys already and keycard doors already deactivated. What does the coin purse get us If we wanted to trade, we could trade the coin purse for a sledgehammer. There's no trunks to open at the moment. It would just be, we would just be getting the sledgehammer to make another power hammer. The power hammer seems, I don't know of anything to open or break with the power hammer right now. I can't think of anything directly. The only idea that I have is this. We know there's supposed to be a secret room somewhere hidden in one of the outer rooms. Denny mentioned this in his logbook. We just don't know which outer room. I want to check the hovel again at some point just because that was Denny's room. So maybe somehow, because I know there was like, in looking back at some of my footage, there were some like boarded up. The wall at the back of the hovel looks like it. Maybe there's a world where you could use the sledgehammer on it. But okay, I don't think we want to make that trade right now. We're still more than happy to keep piling up, stockpiling stuff with the metal detector and other things. The metal detector that we will be getting shortly from the commissary. The only question is, do we trade in the lockpick kit? I think I will do that, actually. With 11 keys, and like we said, it's just, we're not going to get the value out of the lockpick kit that we would normally. It's just going to be overkill. So let's take the chance at getting one of these less common rooms, like the Chamber of Mirrors, with the silver key. Let's do that. And, whoa, the silver key is one you can trade? Oh, because it shows up in your inventory. I didn't think about that. Duh, it's an inventory item. And that could get us a key card. We could keep going down the list here. Now, it does look like these key-related things, the lockpick was traded for a silver key. The silver key is traded for a key card. That's really interesting. The only reason we might want a key card here would be to show us what's behind the dark room doors. But we're hoping that we don't have to do that because the dark room, the lights are back on now. So I don't think I need this key card either, but I also want to see what it's traded for. Like, the silver key is not that valuable to me. So I just want to kind of gain information here, if nothing else. So let's keep just going down the line. Let's see what happens, because maybe eventually car keys. The car keys are very interesting. I'm definitely going to make that trade. We don't need the key card. So we trade the car keys, and then that would allow us... Ooh, that could get us a compass. Yo. Okay, car keys for compass is really interesting. I think I want that. I wish I could have had it... Well, I don't think it would have mattered earlier that much, but I do definitely want the compass now to get us into rank 6. Both, whether we're drafting from the dining room or the dark room, that seems like a really good idea. Now, I do love the idea that the car keys could get us a battery, and it could get us, you know, those additional items that are inside of the trunk in the car. But we don't have a garage right now. We're not guaranteed to get one. And we wouldn't even necessarily be aiming for a garage. Not for the 3 keys, that's for sure. We would just be aiming for it to be able to utilize the car keys. But I like the fact that I like the idea of having the compass just for the drafting portion, right? It's helpful right now. It's something that helps us keep the draft going, but it could also be used in conjunction with some other stuff in the workshop. Obviously, we need to get our hands on more items no matter what, because we probably need to make another trip out here to the trading post. But in this, I am going to at least trade for the compass right now because I think the compass is immediately valuable. The car keys, we would just be speculating. We'll check and see what the compass could be traded for. It trades for a sledgehammer. We don't need that. We're not taking that trade here. So now both the coin purse... Okay, so the coin purse still trades for the sledgehammer. We had seen before, I thought, where when we make a trade, that the other options changed. I don't remember exactly how that worked previously, but now both of our things are being offered for a sledgehammer. So that's not very enticing at all at this point. So we'll hang on to our compass and we'll see what other items we can pick up. For now, we just head back to the commissary and we purchase back our metal detector as well as gems. And the fact that we already have 52 coins, we might even buy some bananas as well. Because yeah, we have steps and we have a dining room, but we're also going to need to keep going out to that trading post. So just giving ourselves as many steps as possible so it's not even a concern. Maybe that's the way we sink our gold today. No need to buy a key. We will definitely... Wait a minute. Oh, it doesn't work that way. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. I'm so disappointed right now. We cannot buy the metal detector from the commissary. Dude, I feel so ripped off. That is not... I mean, we did end up getting a compass out of it, but still, that feels wrong. We're sitting pretty on gems, sorry, keys and coins, but still, I didn't want to trade in my metal detector to just not get another metal detector. Oh well, it's not the end of the world, fortunately. We'll buy all these gems, though. Every single gem is going to be mine, but now we know, okay, we're learning some of the quirks of the system here. Dude, you have 3 metal detectors right there. How are you telling me that these are not for sale? The game thinks that the metal detector is already owned. In reality, I'm the one that got owned, not understanding how this all works. The bananas are on sale, guys. We have to buy them, right? Like, just take them so that you don't have to think about steps, right? The reason that these are here is like, dude, I don't want you to spend time overthinking to death whether or not you need to go and get the bananas in the commissary. Just buy them because they're 2 cents a piece, 2 gold a piece. Just frickin' don't think about it. That's what you do. Okay, the lights are on in the dark room. Does this mean what I think it means? First of all, is there a key somewhere here? There is. They did drop a key in the dark room. We're going to start drafting this door downward to see if this works the way I hope it does. It does! Yes! That's amazing! That is awesome. Just what I was hoping for. So it does, in fact, work when you turn the darkroom lights back on. Boom. Okay, so that's good information for the future. So now that we, man, I'm so glad I took the darkroom now. Saved my gems. So now do I want to spend my gems? No, I don't want to take a passageway here. The servants' quarters also is not insane value for us because we have 11 keys already. I think this is just a dormitory. If nothing else, the dormitory it's at a pretty decent spot in the house. Not that we're in desperation for steps, but it synergizes with the experiment that we're trying to do. And it is one room that is on my list of suspected upgrade disc rooms. I was able to do a little bit of sleuthing to figure out, to cross-reference some different days where I've taken inventory of what's in the house. The day where we saw that upgrade disc where I didn't know what room it was in, I've been able to narrow it down to 4 rooms that could possibly have had that upgrade disc, and the dormitory is one of them. So this would allow us to maybe look a little bit more closely to figure out if there's an upgrade disc hiding somewhere in here. The dormitory could also have an item, like a hall pass or something like that. And that is, we want items to go with our trading post. So the dormitory is in a good spot as well. Let's take it. And I don't think I will check it immediately. There's a trunk there, notably, as soon as we pass up those sledgehammers, but that's fine. We have 11 keys. What I will do first is we'll draft out of the dark room, because now if we get if we do draft, let me make sure I understand this correctly. After drafting a drawing room, we gain 10 steps when we enter the dormitory. Each time, yeah, exactly. So, but it's only the one time that we get those 10 steps, and then we need to go draft another drawing room. They do not stack, unfortunately, which is a little bit, I feel like it should work differently. Let's draft out of the dark room here. We do get a nursery. The nursery is, we also get the foundation. There's a new room here, guys. Okay, I know what we're taking. This is the easiest pick of my life. I only mentioned the nursery just because it was a drawing room, and I thought, oh, there we go. We already got a proc. If we were to take the nursery here, we have to draft it. It's not the same as our experiment, which if we had less than 2 dice at this point, or more than 2 dice, our dice would be set to 2 because we saw the nursery. We're taking the foundation though. Holy shit. What the fuck? It does not reset each day. What the hell does that mean? This is also perfect given what we know. One of the things that I did review in my note bonus video, we went over the fact that the foundation has been talked about, I think, in the master bedroom, and the fact that there is an elevator in the foundation. Oh. I wonder if that's what we did. I wonder if that's what we did in the basement. Now that I'm putting 2 and 2 together, when on day 20, we went down into the basement. We didn't even need the key from the antechamber to open that door. It was already unlocked. But we went in and we put in our key card and then pressed the big elevator button and nothing happened. And I was like, what? I wonder if doing that is what put the foundation in the draft pool. Don't tell me. We know there's supposed to be an elevator in the foundation because of the notes that we took from the master bedroom. And those notes mentioned the fact that there is some sort of elevator control that we can access from the room that is behind the foundation. That is this side that has no door, which would be facing down into rank 4 next to the dormitory here. If we take the foundation, I think what we want to do is we want to get a room that goes into that room. We need a room somewhere at 4-2, that slot, in order to access the elevator control for the foundation. Okay, we're speculating a whole bunch of stuff ahead. Let's just take the damn room. I love I love doing my TED Talk here every time that we're drafting with every single room. But now we get to check the flavor text for the foundation, the cornerstone of the house, unvarying and unchanging. The foundation is one of the only constants in the estate on which you can truly rely. This has to be room number 1, doesn't it? This has to be it. It's the cornerstone of the house. I'm so curious. I have to check right now. Sure enough, room number 1. Wow. Dude, I kind of got a little bit of chills. Just this game is so, the way that they pace these discoveries, and it's done in such, it clearly, there's not just pure randomness that's going on here. These discoveries and the stuff that's being added to the drafting pool is being done in a smart way, a way that is so satisfying to see it play out over the days. And it's so much fun. This natural cavity was hollowed directly out of the mountain itself, with its stone and earth walls displaying an underlying coarseness that the rest of the mansion conceals. There you go, the foundation. Holy shit. Let's check it out. This has got to be it. This has got to be the elevator that goes down into that room that is down in the basement. And it didn't work because we have a prerequisite step. We have to get to 4-2, one way or the other. Which might mean we might need to go back to the dining room to make this happen. I don't know if I want to try to get there through... We'll try to get there through their foundation, right? If we can connect things up here, that's the easiest way to do this. So we'll try to draft through the foundation and see what happens, but we might have to rely on coming back around to the dining room. One way or the other, we want to get to that room, because I think that's how we turn on this elevator. Because right now it's out of reach. I can't get to it. There are dig sites here, if we can get our hands on a shovel. Lots of dig sites. It doesn't change. It doesn't change, so that means that the position of the elevator this would allow you... I guess this is just a shortcut. This is a shortcut to the sanctum. Which is maybe not... It doesn't seem quite as cool at the moment, but it sure would save you a hell of a lot of steps. And there are reasons for us to go back down to both the inner sanctum and the underpass, because we have, once we get our hands on a 4-letter combination, we can open up that other door and get our hands on another blueprint and I believe a red letter. So there's reasons to go down still. Let's see what the doors out of the Foundation offer us. This is so exciting. This game is the best. I think we go ahead and just use... We don't ask any questions. We just use keys whenever we see this prompt. Just go for it. I think I want the pool. The pool is what gets us a chance to go around and connect to both the dining room and the room behind the Foundation. Don't need the keys in the garage. We might still draft that at some point because of car keys and whatnot, but I don't want to close myself off here. Let's give ourselves doors. We need doors. No, even if we weren't dealing with the Foundation here, we want doors for our draft. So the pool is awesome. There are swim trunks that we could get our hands on. Is the pool already drained? Or did I... The pool might even already be drained. So I did forget that there's a trunk. Oh, this gets us steps from the dormitory. So we can draft from the top of the Foundation. And then, or we can just go back to the dormitory and get our steps now and then draft out of the top of the Foundation or through the bottom of the pool, one way or the other. Either way, we're going to take the pool. We're not going to think too hard about it there. And the pool is not quite drained. If we want to get our hands on those trunks, we do need to find and draft the pump room again. We'll go back to the dormitory now and get those steps. And see if there is an item here. That thermos. I keep thinking that thermos is an item. I'm going to drink my coffee and get myself some extra steps. But it does seem as though there's a trunk in here. I forgot about the trunk. If there were an upgrade disc in this room, it certainly seems like it would be hidden somewhere. Because I am not seeing where there would be an upgrade disc. We may potentially go back to security to check, just to rule it out. But I'm not seeing where there would be an upgrade disc here. We go ahead and we open the trunk, though. Trunk is not a problem, even without a sledgehammer. Gets us our key right back. And we get a gem to go with it. Gem and a coin. Our own little OG storeroom right here in the dormitory. Okay, so we could draft through the south door in the pool and try to get a room that, at the very worst, elbows into 4-2, so we can do the thing with the Foundation. I would love it. The ideal would be to have a west wing that just connects directly to the dining room, a west wing hall, that is. And then I could also get the door, the other room, and we would keep the 45-room dream alive as well. However, we do have a compass. And I feel like in this case, because we also still have some coins that are spread throughout the house, I want to go check those other rooms to pick up coins and draft from the dining room. Because of the compass giving us that northward bonus, I feel like it in my mind, makes the West Wing Hall more likely. Now, it might also make stuff like the workshop more likely. I would want to take a workshop, but I wouldn't want it so that I could not get the room behind the Foundation. So I don't know. I might be screwing myself over by making some rooms like the ballroom and the workshop more likely, just the straight through rooms. But we do have 2 rerolls. That's the other thing. We have 2 dice. So between the compass and the 2 dice, I feel like drafting through the dining room should definitely, in the worst case, it will get us to where we want to go behind the Foundation. And hopefully, if we're lucky, it'll save us some steps by getting us to the pool as well. So let's do that. And we have to remember that we don't have our metal detector anymore. So if I'm going to look for coins, I got to do it the old-fashioned way. My lazy ass actually has to look for coins. Whatever will I do? Let's quickly check the inventory. This will allow me to rule out whether there is an upgrade disc in the dormitory. There is not. There's still 6 coins, and we have the 2 trunks in the swimming pool. So the 3 rooms that are still in contention, just for the record, the 3 rooms that are still, that potentially have an upgrade disc are, the East Wing Hall is one possibility, but I feel like that's probably not a possibility because we've been through the East Wing Hall a number of times. Don't think they would be hiding one in there, but the Rumpus Room is one that was in the house the day that I saw that upgrade disc on the list. But also, here's a coin. Also, there is the classroom. The classroom, it was the day that we drafted the schoolhouse that we had. Ooh, this is going to be the other 5 coins, and therefore 6 because of our coin purse. Cool. So now we've picked up all the additional coins that were spread by the office, and now we actually have our lunch pail, which we will just grab. Let's just not overthink it. Take the lunch pail. Get ourselves those 10 extra steps. Thank you for... Oh. That's how that works. The lunchbox is an actual item that goes in your inventory. And then, when you actually reach rank 5, I suppose the lunchbox gets consumed, right? And then you have 10 steps. Maybe not. Maybe the lunchbox stays in your inventory. Theoretically, we could trade this in at the trading post, right? We'll hold on to it for now, and we'll find out whether it actually does get consumed when we get back to rank 5. If it does, then that's fine. We get 10 additional steps, and it's a little easier to get back to the trading post. But if it gives us the steps and then stays in our inventory, that's even better, because then we can just trade it in for free to get something at the trading post. Okay, dining room. It gives us a patio, but it doesn't give us the room to the pool. We only have the courtyard to go along with the patio, so we're not spreading that many gems. I think this is where I use one of the redraws. I use one of the redraws here, I think. I would love to get a drawing room. The drawing room I would actually take, because it connects us to the pool and gets us out of the room. And it would get us dice, and it would get us a dormitory proc. I think I redraw here. This could be silly of me, but I think we're very, very, very unlikely. They're not going to give us 3 dead ends, right? I don't think the game does that. One way or the other, we're getting to this room in the foundation. Below the foundation, that is. It's just a matter of whether we get a T-shaped room to connect us to the pool. I want to redraw. Whoa, okay. Interesting. Now, why did this experiment not proc? We just drew a study, did we not? I suppose, does this mean that I have to naturally draw? This experiment is now confusing me. It has to happen on your first draw. That feels bad. Frankly, that feels bad. Because now that experiment is not nearly as powerful as I thought it was. It's not as good. Not as good. I could... So that means I don't necessarily get dice back. I don't necessarily get dice back until I actually just naturally get a drawing room offered to me on the first roll. Okay. How much does that change my decision here? We have the pump room. Okay? The pump room we could take. We would be able to draft the room behind the foundation. And then we would have to run all the way back around to the pool. However, the pump room we would have, and we would be able to change the water level in the pool. We'd be able to drain the pool to get the trunks. So that would be good. But it would take us, it would be a lot farther of a journey for us to come back to the dining room when we want to get the steps after having reached rank 8. At the same time, we're still at 41 steps. Does it really matter? I think it matters somewhat. I would love to take the study because I would love to try the safe. That there's a safe in the study, and I would like to try some of our dates that we have to see if we could crack that safe. But I really, 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 really want to get to the foundation. Behind the foundation is what I'm saying. I want to be able to get that elevator online. They're not going to give us 3 dead ends. So in the worst case scenario, we just end up with an elbow that's not the pump room. If we use our redraw here is what I'm thinking. It's just between pump room and redraw. I really want to get a West Wing Hall or something that connects us to the pool. That just feels so much better. Is that compulsive of me? It's just that much easier for us to get back to the trading post once if we can connect directly to the pool through here. That saves us so many steps, and it gives us a lot more liberty in going back and forth between the trading posts. This is worth the redraw. We can get more dice when we get offered. Eventually, we're going to be offered a drawing room on our first draw. It kind of sucks that it doesn't happen on every redraw, but I suppose that's another limitation, that they just don't want you to get infinite dice on one particular pick. That's maybe a little bit too OP. So maybe I should have seen this coming. I'm going to go ahead and use the redraw here, though. Get the West Wing Hall. Yes. Oh, I saw the veranda, and then I saw the observatory, and I was like, no, it's going to happen. They were not too unkind, those RNG gods. Thank you, thank you, thank you, West Wing Hall. Let's go. Woo! Dodged one. There's a security door that got opened for us, I suppose. Not that it matters. But yeah, now we draft. And now I don't think it matters what room we take here. I can't say that for sure. Does this foundation switch? It's a foundation switch that's going to show up in another room. I don't know how the rules of the game are going to work. So I don't know if any single room is going to matter. But let's just see what we're offered, and we'll go from there. Dang it. We got a bunk room. We got a bunk room just as we drafted our third hallway. Dang it. Okay. I think we take the bunk room here. But I'm not sure if you have to take a door. This is where maybe I should review my notes. Let me look at my notes here that I have from the master bedroom to give myself a reminder. What exactly did our information tell us about the foundation? So it says that the controls for the foundation elevator are located behind the foundation wall. This means the controls can only be accessed by another room adjacent to the foundation. Unclear if this is a security feature or a flaw. Please advise. So I don't think that means, I don't think it means that you have to have, because I was for a second thinking about, they gave us a chapel and a passageway here. Do you have to have a room that has a door that points toward the foundation? Do you need that door that goes that way? Otherwise, you can't access the switch? Or could you access it through any door or any room? As so long as it's next to the foundation, that's all you need. You just need to be able to get to the other side of the foundation wall. We're going to take the bunk room and we're going to find out, because I really don't want to take either a chapel or a passageway here. That makes absolutely zero sense in any other context, and I don't know how the foundation works, so I'm not going to shoot in the dark. We're going to take the bunk room, even if it doesn't double our keys. That's fine. We still get a couple gems or a couple keys, and we will see. In this case, we did not get either. We actually got 2 bananas, and it looks like maybe I did need to draft a door. I needed to draft a room that had a door, because I don't see a way for us to access the elevator switch. That's what it looks like. Fuck. I needed to draft a chapel, didn't I? Dang it. We don't even get gems. How cruel is that, guys? What in the world is going on here? You don't know until you know, right? I reasoned it out. I didn't have any specific information. I would just be shooting in the dark saying that, oh, I need a chapel door in order to get me to be able to access in order to be able to access the switch for the foundation. Maybe if I had reasoned it out just a little bit more, I could have just thought to myself, well, would they realistically allow you, you know, any room that just has a dead end? Not a dead end, but a wall, right? A wall as opposed to a door. Would they really program into the game the ability to change any single room to adapt itself to the presence of the foundation? It kind of doesn't make sense, does it? It makes a lot more sense that they would say, okay, programmatically, it's much easier, like just like we randomly can have either a regular door or a security door. Well, what about the case where it's next to the foundation? Well, now we'll just program in something else. It'll be a switch that works with the foundation elevator. In retrospect, when you're on the other side of these decisions, it does feel a little bit like, I should have seen that coming. But you never know for sure until you're there. Okay, gosh dang it, that's a little disappointing. That's a little disappointing. And also, we didn't even get the gems from the bunk room. So, that is going to have to do for now. Let's see what happens with our lunchbox. We haven't drafted another drawing room yet, so no reason to go to the dormitory. But yeah, the draft must go on. Okay, so there's our lunchbox steps, and the lunchbox is consumed. So if you were really in a state where you did not want to take those steps or get the extra steps from the lunchbox, you could go out to the trading post. Alrighty, okay. The draft will go on. Let's continue along with the pool or the foundation. Let's draft through the pool, and maybe if we're lucky, we get a door that goes, maybe now we get our veranda that goes straight up the wing. Or a ballroom. God damn it. Geist bedroom versus sauna. This choice sucks. Now's when I need a die. God damn it. I really don't like this experiment now that I know how it works. We don't get dice from just redrawing, and we don't, even if I somehow had gotten lucky and got a drawing room here offered, they don't let you use those dice until the next roll. So, unfortunate. I think we're taking a dead end here. It's just a matter of Geist versus sauna. I think it's actually a pretty easy Geist bedroom, right? Even though we have this experiment, we really want to make sure we have the dice for the next roll. Because, like, I'm not taking a ballroom here, am I? Maybe I should, though. Maybe I should take a ballroom and I just don't enter it until I've drafted everything else that I can draft. Could we live in that world where we've got the ballroom here, but we only come back to it when we've spent all our gems? Actually, I think that's probably the way to go. And if nothing else, you know, this, like, if you go from 9 gems to 2 gems, like, that's not great, but you can just go right back up to 2 gems as soon as you spend the 2 that you've got. You've got that ballroom there. You just need the steps to keep coming back to it, but we've got those steps. So why don't we take that ballroom, and that keeps us going up the West Wing when we want to. Because I really don't want to dead end ourselves here. The Geist bedroom would be fine, and maybe it is the correct pick, but I think we can get away with this. We just go to the ballroom when it makes sense. We'll see. We'll see if that choice comes back to bite me. It's all going to depend on exactly what we get offered out of the foundation here. If I have a passageway, I might even, maybe even at this point, I would slam dunk a weight room. Oh God, don't give me that choice. Don't do it to me. There's no ducks coming out of the foundation, I don't think. Is there anything else going on in this room? I wouldn't say that I explored this extensively, but it sure looked like the only thing really going on is the elevator, and I didn't even get to do that thing because I didn't quite understand how that's supposed to work. So hopefully, the problem is the foundation is rare, so who knows when we're going to see this offered again. Who knows? Who knows? Coulda, shoulda, woulda. Let's see what the draft options are out of the foundation. Okay, now we take a pump room. Could take a casino, and then there's our gold sink. And we get to spend gems. So I could see it being a casino. I don't think it's ever a locker room here. This is either pump room or casino. The pump room gets us those 2 trunks in the pool. And I like the idea of that, but also if we want to spend all of our gems so we can go through the ballroom and get more value from that, then do we really want to be opening trunks? The last time that we opened the swim trunks, we got dice and coins, right? So that's actually a little bit dangerous. If those 2 trunks again have 4 dice, now anytime that we happen to draft or draw a drawing room or drafting room, it's drawing room, right? Is it drafting room? I always get those mixed up. Whatever one has the compass on it, our dice are going to get set back down to 2. I always hate losing value, right? That's what I'm always, my value brain just doesn't want to lose stuff. The casino does get us coins on its own as well, right? We get 15 coins, and that would turn into 20 coins because of the coin purse. And then we have a gold sink, guaranteed. Let's take the casino. I like the idea of spending my gems and also getting more coins while also guaranteeing a gold sink. Let's go ahead and take that. I like also that it points us to the right. The pump room would do that as well. Let's take the casino though. Let's take it here. And we will take our coins. But of course, we're not playing any games just yet. The roulette wheel is there. If we really, you know, we're not desperate for gems though. Now that we have a ballroom, we can kind of come back to the ballroom to up our gems essentially at any time. We're maybe going to run out of steps at some point here, but so far we're doing fine on that front. We still have the dining room once we reach rank 8. And who knows, maybe now with 63 coins, we might just draft a kitchen because we're kind of, you know, still need a place to spend. We can't do every single one of our coins here in the casino until we get to 100. So let's keep on drafting. Use those keys. There's that kitchen. Right on cue. The other option would be the observatory, which I kind of like. I think maybe I just take an observatory here because I think that gets us to 13 stars. And that means that now that we have a full star schedule, we know that that gives us, it actually gives us another key, which is fine, but it also gets us the Southern Cross, which I like, question mark. I just think I want as many doors as possible coming out of the observatory or whatever room we take here. That's not the lavatory. The nice thing about the kitchen would be that it would tell us, it would give us the main course of the day. So we could try to prioritize a boiler room or something for extra steps. But taking the Southern Cross gets us as many doors as possible, which when we're still, you know, the 45 room dream is alive and we have 9 keys, get as many doors as possible. I don't know if I would necessarily take a great haul without the help of a foyer, but I might. It might be something that I settle for. And we get a key on top of this to go with with everything else that we're getting with the observatory. So let's do it. Observatory. And we don't have a metal detector because of the, I hate these things that you don't know, right? Until you know them. You don't know that trading in your metal detector doesn't let you buy another one at the commissary until you've had that happen once. You don't know that the Foundation elevator control can't be accessed through the bunk room. You probably have to have a door, which is why we should have taken either the chapel or, but we would have taken the chapel, right? We would have never spent 2 gems on the passageway just to save a coin. So you don't know those things until you know them. It just sucks that we're kind of, you know, learning them live, but it is what it is. Oh yeah, there's Clavis the key. There you go. And Southern Cross, boom. Now, interestingly, you don't have to take both of these. If you look in the telescope, you could just activate Clavis the key, and you could leave the Southern Cross if for some reason you didn't want that. If you really, really, really want to overthink things. In this case, I think it's fine that we took both. Let's draft out of the observatory. We're still, you know, now we're down to 4 gems all of a sudden, and maybe we head back to that ballroom sooner than I was thinking we would. Oh, there's a showroom. That's a showroom. There's also an archives here, which gets us as many doors as possible, and it doesn't spend gems, but that's a showroom, right? We have 63 coins. We don't necessarily have to gamble everything at the casino. We need to take the showroom here because there are items for sale, and items are things we can trade in at the trading post. The 45 room dream is not dead if we take the showroom. It gets a little bit dicey, but we have to take the showroom here. We have to do it. This is the way this draft is meant to go. We spend the 2 gems, and now we see what is for sale. Because who knows, there could be new stuff. It does look like there's new stuff, right? This moon pendant? I don't think we've had this before. I'm gonna check my notes. What did we have before in the showroom? Right, we had an emerald bracelet, master key, chronograph, and ornate compass. So we actually have 3 of the items that we did before, and 1 new one. What is the moon pendant? If you call it a day while wearing the moon pendant, you will start tomorrow with 2 of the items in your inventory. What? So it's its own coat check, sort of. You can't really throw away items, except if you have the trading post, and if it lets you somehow trade in one of those items for dice or something. So I'm just thinking about the scenario where maybe you could narrow down your inventory to where you only are holding the moon pendant and 1 other item. But I don't know if you could, I don't know if the trading post is quite that powerful, but maybe you could make it happen. Don't know that I want to use that, don't know that I want to spend 20 coins to get that here. But we do have the compass and the coin purse. Like, being able to start the day with the compass and the moon necklace is a really interesting idea. The other thing, of course, with any of these that we get from the showroom, any of these items theoretically could be traded at the trading post. What would these be traded for? I don't think we need the master key. This is another day where we just don't need it. We can't even buy it, but we got 10 keys, right? Opens all normal doors. Don't need it here. The chronograph we did buy last time, but we didn't quite get to coat check it, which is what we were hoping to do, drafting through the aquarium, I think. But if I let's see, while drafting, you may rewind. That's what this does. So if you don't like the stuff that you got, you can rewind. If you use like your dice. It wouldn't give you your dice back, I don't think. It also makes it more likely to draw tomorrow rooms. And then the ornate compass. While drafting, you may rotate the first 3 floor plans you draw. Oh, shit. That would make it a lot more likely for us to get the 45 rooms. This might be what I get if I want to just say, hey, we're aiming for 45 rooms today, guys. That's our goal, to make that happen. With 10 keys, the key card doors are not an impediment, and now we get to rotate the first 3 floor plans that we draw. I'm presuming that it's going to work the way that the rotunda works, where you can just keep rotating. I don't think it's going to limit you to just 1 rotation. That would be a little bit silly, I think. So it's just limited, you know, if you redraw, you're not going to be able to re-roll. You're not going to be able to rotate a redraw. Let's do this. This spends this 50 of our coins. We still have enough coins if we wanted to get a kitchen and buy some stuff there. So let's do it. This feels fun to me. We might even still be able to come back and get one of these others, depending on, like, these could be gold sink options. The moon pendant is more, you know, the chronograph. If you're sinking your gold here to say, all right, we need to aim for tomorrow rooms. You want to get this while you still have rooms to draft. So I just feel like we're in a much, the draft is healthy enough with a ballroom, and so the fact that we have so many steps, we can still get so much value from each of our, the draft today has so much value still to be procured. So we're gonna try the compass here. The ornate compass. We have the regular compass and we have the drafting compass now. So things are gonna be fun. That's the bottom line. Shit is getting fun here. So now we want at the very least, we want a room that is gonna point us to the right. The antechamber is, we wouldn't try to be going, we're not trying to get to the antechamber. So we want a room that goes to the right. And we should be able to do that now, no matter what. We'll see. We'll see how because the compass still wants to give us rooms that point northward, right? So it could give us like the workshop and 2 dead ends. And then it's like, that ornate compass that you just spent 50 gold on. LOL. So in some ways, you know, this is maybe a moment of truth here. And maybe I shouldn't just draft here necessarily this second, because what if I want to go back to the ballroom? Now I'm down to 2 gems, so I'm not losing any gems if I go back and draft through the ballroom. And I could draft the rooms up the west wing, and in the process, probably get more dice. At some point, we should get another successful trigger on our experiment. We've only got it to happen once because it doesn't work the way that I thought it did. Draw does not mean redraw. I do have to remember, though, we do have the Southern Cross in effect, right? That doesn't show up on our screen here, but we do have the Southern Cross. So it is, I've got to think that it's really unlikely that they're going to not give us a door that could point us to the right. That's got to be, I mean, what did they just offer us? They did offer us an archives, right? So in the worst case scenario, would I take a weight room here? That's what I have to consider. Would I take a weight room? Would I take an archives if that means that we get to the rest of the house? If I was taking a weight room, I would like to have spent my steps before taking it, but also I would like to take it before I go back to the dining room. So I think we stop overthinking it in either case, and we open this door. See what we get. They sure enough did it, didn't they? At the same time, they also gave us a library, which we can rotate. So the library can point to the right. And then we can get fancy rooms that aren't offered otherwise. I think that's what we do. And we get to read our book as well. We're not gonna lose steps just yet. We might still take that weight room at some point here, but we're gonna go ahead and rotate this shit. And as expected, the rotation is something you can just keep doing. So rotating the other 2 is pretty funny, but library it is. I think I'm not ready to let go of these steps on this day. There's still a lot of trekking back and forth possibly to be done. So library it is here. And then let's step in and let's keep on drafting. There's our dinner bell. And we get to read about some drafting strategy, which I think we will do. Oh, we are the only ones to have borrowed this book. This book was graciously gifted by Simon P. Jones. Yeah, that's right. We spent our own hard-earned money to donate it to the library. All right, Drafting Strategy Volume 4. Let's check it out. Tools of the Trade. Taking issue with inventory. In the world of drafting, the tools an architect wields are crucial in shaping their vision and bringing their designs to life. The precision, elegance, and functionality of these instruments can have a profound effect on the drafting process and the final outcome of your project. That's why it's very important to choose the right tools to complement your drafting techniques. It's really interesting that on this day, we're trying to prioritize these items on a day when we have the trading post, and sure enough, we get this issue of Drafting Strategy. What are the chances? In this issue of Drafting Strategy, we'll dive into the vast realm of inventory, bringing to light the many hidden tools of the trade that can enhance your favorite strategies and elevate your architectural ambitions to unprecedented heights. From classic compasses and T-squares to state-of-the-art software upgrades, the variety of drafting tools available to architects today is staggering. As we navigate this diverse landscape, regardless of whether you are a seasoned professional seeking to refine your toolkit or a budding draftsman searching for a basic set of instruments, the following articles will provide you invaluable insights and guidance for architects of all levels. I like how by the way, the ornate compass is one of those. It's this rare item that shows up only in the showroom, so it seems, and yet it's here on this page, along with, I guess we don't have the wrench. We're still looking for that wrench. That freaking, maybe the compass would be one of those that we could trade in at the trading post for a wrench. But then the wrench is not going to... We need the wrench while we're drafting if we want to make use of it, don't we? I would love to make that workshop a lot more common. Okay, the guiding compass, an introduction to drafting items. Gems, you can't have a conversation about drafting items without starting with gems. These valuable stones allow architects to draft special floor plans. Almost doesn't even feel worth reading that. We know gems, right? Stopwatch, though. We've only had one interaction with this stopwatch, a more short-term, very short-term alternative to paying gem costs is utilizing a stopwatch to bypass any gem costs you encounter during a frantic 1-minute drafting dash. Yep, not my favorite item in the world. I almost lost my mind and had an aneurysm in the process. Emerald bracelet, having to rush my decisions. Goddamn. Emerald bracelet, of course, if you are wealthy enough to be able to afford to purchase it from the showroom. This very high-end luxury item removes the gem cost of special floor plans altogether. That's right. That's what the emerald bracelet did. We didn't get offered today. Repellent spray. What is this? Why remove gem costs, though, when you can just remove the whole room? Repellent spray can free you of that annoying floor plan for up to a week? What? You could just remove an entire floor plan from the drafting pool? So just get rid of the furnace for a week? It feels like the furnace, yeah, it gets us a key in some circumstances, but I almost never want to take it. I'm almost always forced into a furnace, kicking and screaming. We've never seen repellent spray once. Does it just show up in the commissary? Where do we get that? Ivory dice we know all about, allow us to reroll for new floor plans. Brass compass, a useful drafting tool that adjusts the orientation of floor plans. If a room has another exit, it will have a high chance to lead north. If a room has another exit, meaning it's not a dead end, it'll have a high chance to lead north. Yes. We do know that much. Silver key. All but guarantees that your draft will result in a room with enough doors to ensure they lead where you want them to go. Orientation of floor plans matters a lot less when rooms have tons of doors. Gear wrench, the first item that can adjust the rarity of floor plans in the draft pool. Although it only works on mechanical rooms, it is a useful tool for customizing your experience. We want that gear wrench. And then we just picked up our ornate compass for the first time, another luxury item from the showroom and likely the most useful drafting tool on this list. Ornate compass allows you to rotate floor plans as you draft them, allowing you to position doors to your advantage. I'm already on the very first roll that we had the ornate compass. It saved our butts. I love this item already. Okay, workshop stuff. Glue, grease, and guts. Crafted from the depths of resourcefulness and innovation, contraptions are makeshift creations. They're actually giving us not a list of contraptions necessarily, but they're giving us contraption components. Okay, this is good to know. Makeshift creations born from the fusion of two or more distinct tools. Although through soldering, taping, and a liberal amount of hot glue, inventors can use the workbench found in the workshop to bring together disparate elements to forge something far greater than the sum of its parts. Blind experimentation is often the most rewarding avenue for true innovators, but for those crafters who need a bit of inspiration or guidance, we've included a list of common contraption components to kickstart your creative journey. Excellent. So, in fact, the shovel and metal detector and battery pack are used in 3 different components or 3 different contraptions, but I think we knew that about the battery pack. Obviously, we've done the power hammer a few times. We know also that it can be used for both the electromagnet and the jackhammer. We just haven't crafted those yet. So we know now what the battery pack is used for. The metal detector, we've put it together with the shovel, but apparently it can be used with 2 it can be made in 2 other contraptions, which I don't even know that we've seen those offered. The broken lever can be used in 2 contraptions, power hammer and jackhammer. Shovel, we combined with the metal detector, and also it can be done with to do the jackhammer, but there's a third for it. Compass has another one besides the electromagnet. Sledgehammer we've done. It's been our most OP contraption by a mile. But then the lockpick kit, the coin purse, and the magnifying glass, as well as one mystery component, all go into one contraption. I had thought that maybe the magnifying glass would be utilized, but I really would not have expected the coin purse to be used in a contraption. The lockpick I could see, but we've only gotten our hands on the lockpick kit a couple times. You really have to get the stars have to align in certain drafts for some of this stuff to happen. We'll get there eventually. It's about time for an upgrade. Guide to upgrade discs. Perhaps the most exciting time an architect can come across. The most exciting item is an upgrade disk. This floppy data disk houses a wellspring of unique architectural plans designed explicitly for a specific room. By inserting into a computer terminal, architects gain the ability to shape the destiny of a room, guided by the enticing designs contained on the disk. This myriad of options not only allows architects to craft floor plans that align with their preferred strategies, but also enables them to adapt their creations to evolving project requirements. Furthermore, the upgrade disk's array of plans ensures that no 2 architects will follow the same path, fostering a landscape of diverse architectural designs. We definitely, it's a strong incentive, even as big as this game is turning out to be. I still have the desire at some point to do a fresh file, right? Starting things over and being able to do a completely different upgrade path with the discs is a lot of fun. Sounds a lot of fun. It does tell us there are 16 total discs. I have no idea how many discs we've done so far. I'll have to think about how many upgrades we've done, but 16 total. And we've seen all these offered. We've actually done all of these. We've done the discs for Storeroom, Courtyard, and Nook. So those have been taken care of. Then we have tricks for itemized success, tooltips. Stringing together adjoining hallways has always been the most straightforward strategy when using a hall pass. Drafting floor plans like tunnel. What the fuck? Tunnel and secret passage are an easy way to set up longer chains of hallways. There is what sounds like a found floor plan or a lost floor plan that is going to involve the tunnel. What the fuck? So the tunnel sounds like it's similar to the secret passage in some way, where it gives you a much narrower pool of options, perhaps narrowing down to a particular color, or maybe it just drafts another hallway on the other end of it. The tunnel. Secret, 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 secret tunnel. Okay, looking forward to the tunnel at some point. You can adjust the settings on the terminal. We know about this. Key cards. If you found a key card, it's worth changing those settings to high. Yada, yada, yada. We figured that out a long time ago, my man. We know. Give me those advanced strats. We're on volume 4 here, guys. We got to get into the good stuff. The Endeavoring Gardener. A watering can is a fundamental tool, but did you know... Oh, shit. Oh, how did I not think of this before? You can refill the watering can in the kitchen. They don't tell you that directly here. They say all you need to do is find a faucet with running water, but we have that. That's why we pipe water into the kitchen, isn't it? To refill the watering can. Oh, that's okay. Okay, looking forward to getting a watering can now. Most green rooms can only be drafted along the edges of the house, and the secret garden is no exception. You can use this key on any locked door leading to one of these room positions. We know that. If you've come across any fancy ruby socketed candlesticks, you may want to take note in case you can find an item that can produce a flame. What? These specific candlesticks contain mechanical triggers that are tripped when the candle is lit? What the fuck? What the fuck? These are all over the place. These are in the chapel. These are in the tomb. And these are also in the abandoned mine. And we can get now to the abandoned mine through the tomb very easily. And who knows where else these are that I've been overlooking them. What produces flame? Excuse me? What item do I have that produces flame? This must be some similar to repellent spray, maybe some rare item like matches or something. We got to get our hands on some matches. Or somehow we need the power of fire. Maybe it's a contraption. Repellent spray plus, I don't even know, man. I don't even know. Like there's the dynamite out in the trading post. That'll do the trick. Just use a little bit of dynamite and boom, mechanical trigger unlocked. Dude! Okay, that alone might have been worth this read of Drafting Strategy Volume 4. Okay, and that is that takes us to the word from the editor. Tools are cool. Okay. But they are only as good as the architect who harnesses their capabilities. As you finish reading this issue of Drafting Strategy, I want you to open your menu and look at your inventory. Take a moment to look at each item and contemplate the true potential they all hold. The same potential you see there is the same potential that resides within yourself. For it is not the tools themselves that will sculpt the grand structures of monuments of tomorrow, but the deft hands and brilliant minds of architects like you. I had to switch into the dramatic, over-the-top dramatic voice there, the way that paragraph was going. The true potential of these items. Ornate compass and a compass. It's a very, it's a very one-trick pony that we've got going in the inventory so far. Apparently there's a contraption, though, we can make with the coin purse. We need so many more items, though. What's the library going to give us? What are we going to get? Did we want to check? We need a magnifying glass at some point because we want to check the stamp collection. But I can at least check the stamp collection without the magnifying glass because I wanted to see if the Arinda Aries stamp gets added to it. That was something that we did on day 20 down in the inner sanctum. It does not. Shit. So it looks like you do need, I think it goes here. Oops. I think it goes here because I remember it being kind of a tall stamp. This looks perfect for the Arinda Aries stamp. And yeah, we want a magnifying glass to look at this writing. What does this say here? Something about stamps. I see the letter S and the letter P and the letter M. Stamp is in there somewhere. The rest of it, I have no clue. And that's what we need a magnifying glass for. We have a Swimbird plushie as our new all-time large purchase of 110. Remember way back when, guys, when I was looking at the casino wheel and thinking, how the heck are we going to get 100 gold? How are we ever going to get our hands on 100 gold, guys? That actually, now aiming for something like 200 gold in a day doesn't feel like an unattainable. It feels like something that's well within reach. Okay, 2 gems is kind of like that's what we get by going back to the ballroom. So we might not be able to draft a 3-gem room here, but we'll still draft forward through the library and see what we get. Probably a passageway, but the bookshop is interesting. We just already spent all our gold, so getting another gold sink so soon is, not as exciting. And getting a passageway that points every which way and giving us as many options as possible to draft the 45-room dream, that seems a lot more fun. So I think that's what we do. Now, we could rotate the bookshop. We have the ability to rotate the bookshop. Would that change my calculus here at all? If I had not drafted the showroom, if I still was sitting on 63 coins or whatever, I would probably take the bookshop here, slam dunk. But I think this is where I want to take the passageway. And then we would go back to draft through the ballroom and start drafting that side of the house. Draft through, hopefully draft the 6 rooms that are up on that western side. Go back down to the dining room and grab the steps there. Maybe stop at the dormitory to get steps if we've taken a drawing room. Or a drafting room. I'll get that terminology one of these days. But I think it's a pretty clear passageway. And we're not getting we're not getting a ton of usage out of this, the fact that we're drafting out of the library. But I don't ever take a Great Hall here. I know what the Great Hall does now, and I don't need to open all those doors. I don't want to waste my keys doing that. So we take the passageway. It's kind of perfect. I think it's kind of perfect. Even if it's only a common, it's still so valuable in my heart. And yeah, that's how it's going to be. That's what we're doing. So back we go to the ballroom. And sure enough, we went through those gems. We didn't even get halfway through the other rooms in the house before we came back here to get our gems at the ballroom. Okay, let's keep this going. They really are giving us the gold sinks, guys, if we want them. The problem is we've bought everything in the gift shop. So I think this is a pretty easy aquarium. We're just not getting any synergy out of the aquarium. There's no synergy whatsoever that we're getting other than the increased chance that there's an item because it's a green room. But otherwise, there's no... We're just spending gems for the sake of saying, okay, I'm going to take a step into the aquarium and then go back to the ballroom to get another gem. But there's nothing left to buy in the gift shop, right? Until we unlock those blue tents, which we have to do by doing dare mode or something. No, we get like 8 trophies. Isn't that what it is? Whatever the case, we're a long ways off from buying anything else in the gift shop. The thing is, it also does not spend a gem to take the gift shop. And while, yeah, we could take the aquarium and just turn right back around and get 2 gems back up to 2 gems by going back to the ballroom, that's still a couple extra steps that we're spending. We're at 42 steps. We're not in danger of exhausting. But if we're thinking of, at some point, going back to the dining room and getting steps there, and then coming back to draft through the passageway, and then ultimately still going back out to the trading post at some point, we don't want to completely overlook our steps usage here. And we just don't have any. Like, if I had some sort of synergies with the aquarium, I might do it here, right? The free green rooms, or more likely chance of getting items in green rooms, one of those buffs. But because we don't have any of them, I think we just take the gift shop. Even if I had a shovel, I'd probably take the aquarium, because you know there's going to be a dig site. But none of those, we just take the free room, right? And then we don't have to take our steps back into the showroom just yet. We can first draft out of maybe both of these doors. I think we start with this room, or do we start with the room that goes... I'm not going to overthink this. Let's just take the door, or let's just take the room to the right of the gift shop and see what we get. Don't overthink it. Just go. Do the thing. There's a cloister that we can't take. Oh my god, they actually gave us all the rooms that I don't want. But look, we can rotate them. We can rotate our Great Hall and our weight room. Rotating the Great Hall is actually kind of interesting. I mean, we can do it for free, right? So we might as well just see what happens, but I don't think it has an effect. Yeah, none of these can actually be rotated. Like, it would be fun if, like, somehow that would bypass, you know, it would put the 3 locked doors somehow in front of us, and then one of those would automatically be unlocked because, or at the very least, we would know which door we're going through. If those could be like here on the bottom in front of us, we would know one of those doors automatically that we're going through. But yeah, it doesn't work that way. So yeah, so we would be taking a Great Hall. I think we're going to have to take a Great Hall though, because I don't otherwise have gems and I don't want to lose steps still. So the Great Hall is unfortunate here, but we do still get to draft upwards from the gift shop. So we do that. Yep, we're not going to draft through the Great Hall. If we can help it, we don't open any of those doors. We just save all our keys for other places, but we'll see how friendly the draft is to us. Now we take a veranda. Now we take a veranda, and we might have to settle for drafting out of the Great Hall. If we're not able to wind our way around, then we'll see how this goes. I wouldn't mind getting my hands on a vault, but now we sort of need you know, a little bit more help in the gems department. That could be a reason to open these Great Hall doors to see where there's gems hiding. But I'm down to 6 keys, and we still have the right side of the house. I want to try to get 45 rooms if we can help it. The veranda gets us there. So there is a sledgehammer, notably. So there could be a world, if we do draft a pump room somehow up here, we could actually drain the pool and then exit the ballroom and get the stuff that's in the trunks. If there are gems in those, in there somehow this time. Let's just confirm there's nothing at the gift shop to get. All this has been purchased. Blue tents we do need, yeah, 8 trophies in the trophy room. And Digiblocks is a future patch addition. So there's nothing to do here other than to go back and get 2 gems from the ballroom. Spend those extra steps, that's fine. And now we draft out of the veranda. There's no gem here, unfortunately, but we do get a sledgehammer. And we keep on drafting. And now there's a music room. Cool. Or there's a pump room. Okay. Okay, the music room does get us a major key, which could be a sanctum key, but I'm not in a rush to get back to the sanctum, because even though I went over all of my notes that I've taken so far, I did not get any additional leads on sigils. I really didn't. We just don't have enough information yet to know what the other sigils look like. I think what's really going to help us in that department are these books in the bookshop, which would have been a reason to draft the bookshop out of the library, but I'm trying to go for the 45 rooms today. So we'll see if we can get there. The pump room helps us get there. And it also does what? It also would it would drain the pool. The pump room would drain the pool. I don't need to go for the sanctum key. I don't need to go for the sanctum key or the secret garden key. The only reason to do that is to really... The main reason would be to try to trade in one of those keys at the trading post. But if it's like the other key-related stuff that we've seen so far, it's just going to be traded in for other key-like items. I think I want to take the pump room here because it gets us those things in the pool, like I said. And it may not just be dice and coins every time. It could be gems, which we would like to have. And we just picked up a sledgehammer. It's perfect. Let's take the pump room. Even though the music room does spend those gems, which is nice, we could go back to the ballroom and get more gems, but that's more steps we have to spend. So let's take the pump room this time. And now we'll look and see. Okay, so we would have to dump the pool. No, I take it back. I think we can actually just take the pool and throw it into one of these tanks without changing the reservoir level. That's what I was a little afraid of, because I don't want to change the reservoir level. I would like to be able to, on demand, go back to the safe house, which we can basically do at this point. We can go back to the boat, which gets us to the safe house and gets us to that sanctum key that's in the safe house. And I think we can do that. I think we can lower the pool without actually throwing that water into the reservoir because we have this tank 2 available. Now, the only slight complication is that we just have to go, we do have to go through the maneuvering of getting tank 1 empty first, because the pool only goes into tank 1. So this is where we do need to go from tank 1 to the reservoir first. Tank 1, the reservoir is number 2. And we go, so we go to pump 2 and switch that over to tank 1, which it's already at. And then we drain out to the reservoir. Good. And now, from the reservoir, we drain over to tank 2. And so now that the reservoir should be at level 6, which it is, and that's where we want it. And now we can go from the pool. We go from the pool. And now we go over to... this is already connected to tank 1, so we just go into tank 1 from the pool. Oh, that's perfect. That's actually a great... This is kind of the way we want it now, isn't it? Is there ever a world where we would want to change this. The only slight thing I could think of, there was a green memo that we found in one of the chests at the bottom of the reservoir, and it said that the sanctum key is not in a box, it's actually buried. Didn't it say something like that? Except we did find a sanctum key in a box. So are the green memos actually lying to us? We know from the photo in the dark room, supposedly, that the green memos that are in Hartley's room are always a lie. I think that's what it said. But maybe other green memos can lie as well. Despite that slight little bit of doubt, though, I think this is kind of where we want to keep it. Because the pool, we want it to stay drained for the swim trunks. And the reservoir, we want to be able to access the safe house whenever we want. So that's a good outcome. All right, next draft. Still have 6 keys here. No problem spending a key. And now we cannot take a vault. Because we don't have 3 gems. But, you know, a workshop is what we're looking for. The only slight hesitation with a workshop is that it does make, you know, the 45 room dream just gets a little bit in doubt. Because now we have to go through a great hall door, which is a 1 in 3. In the worst case, we would have to spend 3 keys just to draft that very last room, which I'm not thrilled about when we still have all those rooms on the east side of the house to draft. At the same time, it's a frickin' workshop. It's going to get us an item, and this is the whole point. We're doing this today because we want to make stuff in the workshop, right? We could get a battery pack, and then that would let us make an electromagnet right off the bat. Or we could head back out to the trading post. We do have the dining room that we want to go back to get steps for anyways, so maybe that would be our chance to go back to the trading post. This workshop is a little bit far away, right? It's just now is where maybe we're in the market for a kitchen. Maybe we're starting to think like, we're not as healthy on the step count as we would have liked. We're probably supposed to take this workshop here, and if we fall short of the 45 room dream, then it happens. But, you know, the maid's chamber is there. It's just now our draft is kind of lost a little bit of its purpose if we're finding less items laying around the house, and we passed up maybe our one chance to get a workshop. I also just remembered there's a key back in the commissary that I didn't buy because I thought, there's no way I'm ever going to need that. Now, if I could get my hands on a drafting room, it's unfortunate we didn't get a drafting room here. It would have been great because then the dormitory would have given us more steps, and it wouldn't have been a big deal to get to the it wouldn't have been as big of a deal to go back to either the trading post or the commissary or anything. I'm sitting debating this pick maybe more than I should, but I've got these 2 competing goals, right? I want to learn as much as I can from the workshop and figure out what these different contraptions are. But I also want to do 45 rooms. And if I take the maid's chamber, I feel like that's a lot more likely because I don't have to worry about trying to draft what could be my last room in the house through the Great Hall. But if I take the maid's chamber, I am making it much less likely to find more items, and I'm passing a workshop. So we're sort of foregoing the whole reason or the basis of this draft in terms of focusing on items. I think I'm actually just going to take the maid's chamber. We're so late into this draft, and we have a chance to get 45 rooms. The workshop could get us more information, and it would get us an additional item, but we really didn't hit the jackpot on items this run anyways. It didn't turn into a green room draft, and we didn't end up with, you know, metal detector and shovel. We had a metal detector, but I traded it in because I didn't understand how the commissary thing worked. We didn't get a ton of items in the commissary, though. They were all keys and gems and bananas. Like, this just didn't turn into the item draft that I was hoping it would. Also, the workshop is all the way back here. So even if we manage to get all the way out to the trading post and trade in the ideal number, or we get the ideal set of items, we still have to make our way all the way back to the workshop. And we would have and also on top of that, we would have to draft through the Great Hall to get that last room, which means I need to make sure that I procure probably a couple more keys along the way somewhere to make sure that happens. I want to aim for 45 rooms, And if we have to forego, we've got also the rotate 4 plans. That's the other thing. We've got the ornate compass today. And so getting 45 rooms to happen, this is the day, isn't it? If we can't make it happen today, I don't know when we make it happen. This is what we focus on. We try to go for the 45 room dream, man. We want to make it happen. So we're foregoing. You got to pick, you know, you got to pick your lane. We got lucky that one day getting a lucky rabbit's foot in the maid's chamber, but not so much today. It's interesting now that we have seen, I think, a few of these people that are on the staff. We have seen, I think this is Hartley. I strongly suspect this is Hartley here. We've seen him in the dark room with the memo. This makes sense. This is Anne Babbage, who we've also seen in the dark room, and we've seen the two maids in the dark room. One of them is Mila, I think, who lives here. Except where is Mila's angel? What happened here? Is the room different somehow? What's changed? What exactly? Is it because we're up here in the corner somehow? I thought there was a Mila angel here, and now it seems to be gone. So what's up with that? I think we might know the names of some of these other people. Like, I'm guessing this guy is Christoph, the driver, but we haven't seen their pictures elsewhere, and there's a couple others here who we have no idea. But okay, all right. Where the heck? What happened to the Mila angel? What the heck's going on here? All right. That door is locked, but we're going to use the key. This is what we're doing. We're going for the dream. We're going for the dream. And what we will do here is just take a gymnasium, because we don't have to set foot in that gymnasium unless there are some sneakers. If there's some sneakers, then we would do that. The lights are also off in the gymnasium. So we're just taking, you know, this is the Southern Cross in effect here, getting us a room with a lot of doors. No reason to take the archives or we can't even take the rotunda. We don't get to spend our gems, which is another thing I was hoping for, was to get one last bit of gem value before heading back to... One thing I will do, though, is I will do a rotation, because I want the gem to actually point to the Great Hall, because if we do go through the gem, I'd like to see how that works. Does it actually open any of those doors in the Great Hall? I don't think it would. But what am I thinking? What am I thinking? We're taking the gem. I was just going to say it would have been nice to get one last bit of value from, one last bit of value before going back through the ballroom, spending our gems. That would have been nice. I don't see sneakers on the bench in the gym. That was the one thing. That's the one place we've seen the sneakers, and I don't want to take the chance that sneakers are... I don't want to look in. I don't want to spend the steps to look for sneakers. So what we do then is turn around and go back to the pool, because there's stuff to open in the pool. We got swim trunks. Will the swim trunks have exactly what they had on the previous day? That's what it looks like. Okay. I'll take all the dice because, you know, I don't really... Yeah, there's a chance that we could set our steps back to... There's a chance that we could set our steps back to... Oh, there are gems here. Yo! Okay, never mind. Perfect. We take the gems. Let's go. So the swim trunks are not guaranteed to be 2 dice and 5 coins or whatever. Awesome. So now we have 5 gems. We're never going back through the ballroom. That's another reason not to take the workshop. Although if we were going back to the workshop, we wouldn't have any more rooms to draft. So now all we have to worry about is, do we go back to the trading post one last time? I think we do. Because we can go to the dining room and get our meal, and then go out and check to see what the trading post would offer for the sledgehammer or the ornate compass. Not that we would trade those in necessarily, but we might even trade in the compass, because do we need it anymore? Do we really need the compass when we have an ornate compass? We can just rotate the rooms anyways. So let's do that. Let's head to the dining room and let's go to the trading post. And the main course is fish. Aha, that would have been one reason to take that aquarium. We would have gotten 10 additional steps, and it would have been good for us here. But we'll take the steps now. That's fine. Take the 20 steps now, and then trading post. Ooh, I also remembered we have the office. I did forget about checking the safe in the office and experimenting to see if we could, if any of the dates that I have in mind would open that. So maybe we will work that into our calculus here. Trading post first, though. Because then if we're going to the office, we could actually do payroll. We've got the maid's chamber. And, you know, we do need a little bit more. We do need a few more coins in order to actually, oh shit, there's a coin purse for a magnifying glass. Oh shit, we can get a magnifying glass. And we have the library. We should do that. We also can trade in a compass for a salt shaker. That's fine. The ornate compass, what would that get us? It would get us a gear wrench. So it does, the gear wrench is on this next tier. It's a much higher tier. It's the showroom tier. I don't know if you could buy the gear wrench in the showroom. It doesn't feel like a showroom item. But it is a much more rare item. And the only times that we've seen it have been at one time in the tool shed. And then we've had it offered now for the second time at the trading post. But before, I think we had to offer a power hammer to get it. So you really got to do some work to get your hands on a gear wrench. The sledgehammer could be traded for a coupon book. So the coupon book saves us, what is it, 1 coin per purchase, right? Yeah, save 1 coin on every purchase you make at the estate. Could come in handy if we do pick up a kitchen. Oh, and I forgot the other thing. Of course, when we trade in one item, we get to see what is offered for the next item. So at the very least, I think we are trading in our compass because we have the ornate compass. That's just a strict, it's just strictly better, isn't it? So we trade for the salt shaker, and then we can see what the salt shaker gets offered for. A battery pack. Now that we don't have a workshop, we at least know that's a trade we could make, but we'll hold on to our salt shaker for now. I think, though, we go ahead, because we have at least one thing we can use the magnifying glass on, we trade that in. Even though we could get more coins, we really don't have a lot of ways to spend those coins. We have the showroom that has the moon necklace for 20, or we could spend 20 for the roll at the casino wheel, which does have an allowance token as one of the rewards. If we did payroll, we would be able to get more value from the coin purse, but we would also have to go back to the maid's chamber. I don't think the coin purse is so valuable where it does not, it's so much more, it makes so much more sense for us to just get the magnifying glass, and then we have it to examine whatever we need. So let's do that. Let's get the magnifying glass, and then I think we also go ahead and we do the coupon book, because we might as well. Maybe we'll get the kitchen and we'll want to save the coins. We've opened 2 chests already, right? We actually opened a 3rd in the dormitory, but we did it with a key. But that's fine. I don't suspect we're going to need the sledgehammer anymore, so let's trade that in for a coupon book. And we can see what is offered for the coupon book. Car keys. There's no way we're getting a garage, so we don't make that trade. And although I guess we could keep trading the car keys, right? This is the thing, is that you don't have to keep this coupon book. You could just keep going, and maybe you get, who knows? Maybe you could even trade yourself all the way back around to a coupon book. I don't know. I don't know if that's how this works. That's all the trading I'm going to do for now, though. So now let's think about where we want to go with our magnifying glass. If we have the steps, I might go back to places like the office or the ballroom to examine some things with the magnifying glass. But the most interesting one to me is the library, and that's where we're headed anyways to draft. So let's just go to the library. So now we get to examine. I think we have examined this scrapbook before with the magnifying glass, but we'll take another, we'll do a double check on some of these photos that we maybe have looked at already. Was this one of the dates? Maybe we need to add November 5th to our list of dates. I don't know that I had considered that. The date that we are named provisional heir, right? We haven't actually inherited anything just yet, but provided we do what we needed to do, which we did, we were going to be the heir. So November 5th. I don't think November 5th was one of the archives dates. So let's add that here at 11/5. We've got day 1 was 11/7, and then 11/5 provisional heir. Oh wow, the gift shop is our new favorite floor plan. Woo! Okay, so we've looked at all these stamps before, and it's nice now to be able to see them, like, right side up. Like, some of these were a little bit obstructed before. I think the Morajai was actually, like, sideways. So now we can see these a little bit more clearly when we need to. That's nice. I still don't know if there's any new information yet to... Like, we really just need to find the sigils for each of these. Presumably, these are each going to be their own countries. But yeah, like I think we could probably figure out that the core for Morajai is going to be this orange wedge, but we don't know what the other. Well, we might be able to figure out things like the sea-based economy, right? We need to get our hands on Realm and Rune. I don't know if I finished my thought from earlier, but Realm and Rune, the actual book that we can buy in the bookshop, not the torn pages one that we found down in the precipice. And also the history of Arinda Ares. These are both books that we're interested now in buying and checking out. So they have moved up our list. We'll probably get those, if we can, by Realm and Rune. We'll try, but I think we have a risk that the Arinda Ares one is just available in the library already, isn't it? We want to do those before we do Drafting Strategy Volume 5. But here is, okay, what do we got here? Stamps found on the estate and inspected will be added to this page. Okay, I think we had already figured that out. We know that. Oh, now that we have the magnifying glass, we do want to go back outside. We do want to go back outside. I kind of forgot about that while we were out with the trading post, or out by the trading post. We want to get 45 rooms. So whatever we do, we want to get 45 rooms, but hopefully we can make it back outside to look at, there's a memo that's in the basement, and we want to look at those stamps in to add them to our stamp collection here. There was at least the Arinda Ares stamp that's in the inner sanctum. That should be a permanent unlock now, right? Okay, goals. We're down to 28 steps, which is still fine, but we are kind of, we've exhausted a lot of our ways to regenerate steps. We have the dormitory still. So we are looking to draft at least one more drafting room. I always get that wrong. Why do I do that? Let's draft through the passageway. Which way are we going to draft? There's security keycard doors to both the north and the south. Let's fucking go. Let's start then by going to the south. Because if we, I don't know, this probably doesn't matter too much, but we go south and maybe work our way back up the east wing. We'd love to get a master bedroom. We've got 4 shots at it here if it only shows up on the east wing. Let's see what happens. Okay. We could take a music room, or we could take a locker room. I think I like the music room, but... Aha! Wait a second. At what point did we... No, we got the 2 dice from the chest. I thought for a second we procced our experiment again. We got the 2 dice from the chest. We're not stuck with these. We could re-roll these if we want. But at the very least, we would be rotating these so that our music room points in the other direction. So that's our choice here. We could take the music room, or we could take the locker room to point us farther down south. And that's probably what we want, right? We take the room that guarantees us to get farther down. The music room, we're not desperate for the keys. It could be cool to pick up a secret garden key and then draft that to the right of the music room. But there's a chance if we take the music room and things don't go well here, I don't know. When you have a golden compass, the ornate compass, it's really hard for things not to go well. It's like it's really, really tough for things not to go well for you. Because, like, you should be able to always get at least an elbow, but we've seen that that doesn't happen. The elbow is not guaranteed because you do have straight-through rooms. Ooh, what do we do here? The locker room is also cheaper if we want to just focus on spending, making sure we have enough gems to spend the rest of the way. But on a day when we have the Southern Cross, this doesn't feel amazing. Like, it feels like we should be able to get a T-shaped room here, or a four-way room. Now, it would be risky taking a four-way room, or getting offered a four-way room could give us the Chamber of Mirrors. That wouldn't be fantastic. It would be really, really risky to take the Chamber of Mirrors on a day when we're trying to get all 45 rooms drafted. We do still have the chapel and the drawing room at common, and that's it. If we were going for a T-shaped room, it would be up at unusual, like a boiler room or a conference room or an aquarium. But if we get one of those, we can rotate it the way we want. So it might be worth spending a die here, especially when we have this experiment that is still supposed to proc at some point. Oh, but that doesn't proc on a redraw. It only procs when you first draw. We're so close to making this happen, and I don't want to screw it up by rushing a decision here. Not that I ever rush decisions to begin with, but I really would hate to do it now. I would also love to maximize my chances to get a master bedroom. That's really what's at the back of my mind here. So if I take either a locker room or a music room, that means that I have one less opportunity to draft the master bedroom and draft all 45 rooms. A locker room means I can't take a master bedroom here at rank 6 because that cuts me off from the last room in rank 7. Unless I draft there from the passageway. You know, maybe it doesn't. Maybe I'm overthinking this because I don't want to take... It actually doesn't. Never mind. I just explained to myself the fact that I am wrong. It doesn't cut me off from getting one. It doesn't make me get one less chance at a master bedroom. It actually is exactly the same because I would never draft a master bedroom out of the passageway, right? Although maybe I would, right? I reconvinced myself. You could theoretically take a master bedroom out of the passageway and still draft a T-shaped or four-way room below the passageway and then fill out all of the rooms remaining and have 2 chances at getting a master bedroom as one of those. They would all have to come from this 4th column. You'd have to be drafting to the right in order to not cut yourself off from one of the other rooms in the house. But that dream would be alive. Even if you took a master bedroom through the passageway to the right. Ultimately, all my overthinking aside, we're just not that likely. With a redraw here, I don't think we're that likely to get a T-shaped room. We could get something like the archives, which maybe I would take if it were offered here, but I wouldn't love it. I still would love to have full drafting knowledge going into the last. If I want to get 45 rooms, having an archives does weigh you down just that much more. A locker room, I think, is a safe enough pick here. We still, with an ornate compass, we should be able to draft all 45 rooms. It also sort of guarantees, I guess, that we have enough keys to get through the rest of the house. I still don't think that's going to be a concern, though, either. But just the straight-through room alone, I think I might just take a spare bedroom if I had to spend a gem on it. If it meant that... Because I can kind of guarantee there are going to be elbows from the passageway because the fact that the passageway is pointing into walls. The walls on the north wing and the east wing kind of guarantee that I'm not going to get a locker room that I can't rotate or a workshop that I can't rotate. So I'm going to get some sort of a room, almost guaranteed, that's going to point me the way that I want to go to make sure I fill everything out here. I think this is what gets us there. Let's go with the locker room. And stop freaking overthinking it, you dingus. God damn it. We keep drafting, or now we draft out of the other rooms in the passageway. I think now we draft up here, because this we don't even have to spend a key on this. Let's see what we get out of the passageway to the north. Lost and found, huh? We'll take it, because we, like I said, we lose an item when we go in here. Oh, but if we lose the compass, this would have to be like the last room that we draft. If we rotate the lost and found and we take it here, which we would, of course, we would take it, but we would not enter until it's the very last room. because we would not want to risk losing the ornate compass. We don't want to lose the magnifying glass either if we're going to get a master bedroom here. Now, maybe this is a moot point because we might just end up drafting. Maybe that would have been one reason to draft the passageway to the right first. I didn't think about the possibility of getting lost and found. We're going to take it, and then maybe we don't even go in there until the very last minute. But I want to give myself as many options as possible. I don't want to take like a clock tower here or a planetarium and say, I know for sure that I'm going to get a T-shaped room coming out of the passageway. I know I'm going to get the East Wing Hall. That may not happen. I want to make sure I'm getting that last room in rank 9 one way or the other, even if it means I have to lose one of my items in the process. But we would get 2 more rare items to replace it. So who knows? Those rare items might be worth it. So let's take the lost and found, but we're not going to go in just yet. We can take a peek maybe and see. Is that a wrench? That's a wrench. God damn it. That's actually a wrench. Shit. Huh. We might be in the market for a coat check here. A coat check might not be a bad thing, right? A coat check with an ornate compass would actually be so frickin' baller. Okay, now is when we should probably draft this room out of the passageway, because we need to know. I think I need to know. I need to have some information. I need to have some information. I don't think I'm going in to get that wrench, because it's just not gonna. We only have one chance, I think, to get. Not necessarily. If we drafted, I'm thinking that what are the chances that we get the workshop here? There's only going to be like 2 shots to get the workshop offered to us, maybe 3. Depending on how things go. And that would be the one. The workshop would be the one that I would want to make like a common, if I could do it. But I risk losing my ornate compass when I go in the lost and found. I don't want to do that. So at the very least, we're going to draft this room out of the passageway. See what we get. We'll use a key. Chapel, sauna, and attic. Shit. An attic. God damn it. If only this items draft had just come together a little bit sooner, the way that I wanted it to. Shit. That is an attic. Now, of course, a lot of these items in the attic can be gems and keys, and we're winding down our draft here. There's no guarantee that we would have gotten stuff in the attic. I mean, there's a very strong chance that the attic would give us stuff that we would want to use in the workshop. We don't have a workshop now because I passed it up. So we're probably not taking the attic. So we're probably just settling for a chapel. This gets me what I wanted. I get to go around Lost and Found for now. And what I could do here, because I only really need, if I take the chapel, I've got 2 of my rooms for sure that I'm drafting. I still have 3 keys. What I could do is I could draft through the locker room, use the ornate compass if I need to guarantee an elbow that points to the right. And then I would have a door pointing to all 3 of the rooms that I want to draft to fill out the house no matter what. Then I don't need my compass anymore. That would let me go back to Lost and Found and get the wrench. And then we could draft through the chapel and maybe get offered the workshop, because that would actually be a spot where the workshop would be offered, pointing down. And if we're lucky, we could maybe get 2 shots at the workshop, because they would offer us the workshop, I think, going into the office if we got like the East Wing Hall through the chapel, and then the workshop would point down into the office. Not to mention, we could get something like the boiler room. And who knows, we might want to adjust the rarity on the boiler room. Having a more common boiler room wouldn't be a bad thing, because we do want to access that HPC again at some point. But we have done a lot of the things that we set out to do with the boiler room. It's not like this super big priority for us. Let's do that. Let's take the chapel, and then let's draft out through the intel that we got from these candlestick holders. They did look so fancy with their red rubies on them and stuff. Who knew that you could actually light them up? What the hell effect are they going to have? I mean, I think in the chapel we know probably what's going to happen. We had thought there's got to be some way to uncover the last angel, isn't there? That's got to be what those candles do. But how do we light them up? What the fuck? Okay, let's draft through the locker room. It is locked. Is there ever... I mean, we've spread keys throughout the house, right? In the worst case scenario, we can go and backtrack to look for keys. If somehow we're like one key short here, like that's the one little scenario that I can think us maybe being one key short of drafting every single room. But obviously we're going to use this key here, right? Okay. We could just take the rotunda. Even though it's... but at this point, actually, it doesn't matter. We can just take the archives. Because now, like, if we take a master bedroom, or if we're trying to get a master bedroom, I should say, the master bedroom, oh, it does not cost gems, but it is a rare. So we would, if the stuff is sorted by rarity, if there's a world where our master bedroom is blanked out as the archived option, we pick the rightmost option that costs 0 gems. That's what we do, right? So we take the archives here, because now we don't need to see where things point anymore, right? We now get to draft every single room, presuming we have enough keys. And also, the archives could just give us a keycard door. We take the archives here. Archives it is. Okay. And do we now draft that? What I wanted to do, what I said I wanted to do, was I wanted to go back and do the thing with the lost and found, correct? Like, I don't want to lose my magnifying glass either. I don't want to lose anything. But does it make more sense for us to... I think we take the risk. It's a 1 in 4 to lose the magnifying glass. I can't think of anything. We don't have a master bedroom yet, so there's nothing that I can think of in the house right now that we need the magnifying glass for specifically. So we're going to take the chance here. Because there's a wrench. It's only because I saw that there's a wrench here on this table. And the chance of being able to lower the rarity of the workshop is tantalizing enough where I want to try it. We did lose the magnifying glass, goddammit. Oh! And we got the spyglass. Ew. That's not very special. What the fuck? I mean, it's special. The spyglass telescope is, I guess it's special. But, you know, I don't think we can actually proc it at this point, right? Can we even proc it at this point? And not that it would matter that much. It would get us an additional key if it does proc. We'll probably try it at some point. Okay. We lost our magnifying glass. So now, dang it. Even if we get a master bedroom, we'd have to go all the way back out to the trading post to try to get another, to try to get our hands on another freaking magnifying glass. Watch them offer a master bedroom now, guys. Watch them do it to us. We're drafting through the chapel, though, because, like I said, we want to try, if we can, we want to try to get our hands on as many, well, as many what? We want as many shots at the workshop as possible. We're not going to get the workshop offered here in the corner, but... That's a trophy room! Dude, why would you do this to me when I have 4 gems? I mean, how was I supposed to know, guys? How was I supposed to know that the trophy room costs goddamn 5 gems? Fuck me. We don't get a trophy room right here, guys. Unfortunately. Unfortunately. There's a 3 gem... This is a vault, isn't it? This is a vault. Or it's an attic. It's a vault or an attic. We don't get the trophy room, though. Fuck. So the trophy room gives you 8 gems, but you have to spend 5 gems to get it. It's a very weird wine cellar. And then who knows what else is in the trophy room. Our trophies, right? Which hopefully we're going to have a second trophy here very soon. If I don't somehow manage to screw this up looking for the last key that I need. Is this ever worth a reroll? Am I re-rolling here to try to get something... Like, I could just take a Geist bedroom, and then I have four dice to try to go for, you know, the master bedroom. Except now I don't have the goddamn magnifying glass. So re-rolling for a master bedroom is like, eh. I could re-roll for a freezer. You know, a freezer could be, that would be great. Like, ultimately, we may not get the last 2 coins that we need to spend our 20 coin roll at the casino, or buy the 20 coin moon necklace at the showroom. So we're a little bit short on buying our last purchase. So freezing our shit is a good move. Or any tomorrow room that we would get here instead would be a fine move. Or we just take the 3 gem room, right? We spend our gems that otherwise we're not going to be making use of, and we get the vault, maybe, and then we have a 50 coin roll at the casino. No, you have to have 100 coins, but we could buy something at the showroom. But then we would want to go buy that thing at the showroom now. But we could also get the attic. Maybe I should just spend the 3 gems here to get either the attic or the vault. Those are both fine, right? I don't think I need the reroll here. I just take the vault or the attic. If it's the vault, we can buy the 2 things in the showroom, the chronograph and the moon necklace, and we can actually make use out of those still, right? Having a buff chance at getting a tomorrow room at the end here is good. And if it's an attic, then, you know, we at least spend our gems. Like, there could still be some good stuff that we could get through the trading post. Maybe. We're running out of steps here. We might not be able to do what we want to do, but I think I at least spend my gems here, right? We got 4 gems. Let's spend them. There's no guarantee that we're going to get a freezer here. It is the vault. So we'll get our coins. We did lose our coin purse, but that's okay. We still have the coupon book, right? The coupon book does save us a little bit of gold, but I don't think we need that. Even with losing stuff here in the chapel, we get our coins, and we are going to go and get the stuff from the... We're going to get the stuff. I always wonder if I should look more at the passports, but we lost our magnifying glass, so it doesn't really matter. But what we do is before we draft the next couple rooms, we go back to the showroom. Okay, and we get a glitched out tithe because the game has been running forever. That was weird. It actually glitched out the coins on the screen, and I thought I had run out of coins somehow. My coins had just glitched out of existence altogether, but it was just a momentary UI blip. But we go back here and we buy the... We might as well buy the moon pendant, right? Because maybe, who knows, we might start tomorrow with a moon pendant and an ornate compass. And if we're lucky, we can get back to the trading post and make things really go the way that we want. And this gives us a way to spend our gold, most importantly. Excellent. Okay. We can also even rewind after we've done the redraws, right? We've got 2 more rerolls. I forgot about that effect in the effect that we get from the chronograph that lets you, the interaction with the dice. So now, yeah, we are so low on steps. We're going to go to the archives first. Man, we might need a key here. This is the other thing that I haven't really... Shit. I hope we're not going to need a key. Fuck, we might actually run out of steps here if I'm not careful. Because now... Okay, I need to think a little bit about this. Maybe I should have already 15 steps, and I only have the 1 key. I do not know if it's a keycard door going through the archives and it's at rank 6. There's a very strong chance that it's going to be a locked door, and I might also have a locked door in the chapel. And then I would need to get one of those keys that's spread by the locker room. Shit. Should I have gone and spent my 5 gold at the casino to roll to maybe get some keys? We can at least draft at the chapel. I was going to draft at the chapel first anyways, right? Because we wanted to get the chances to draft. Shit, I could also have checked in the observatory to see if there was the extra proc from the telescope. Man, I'm getting this sinking feeling in my gut that I might have just screwed up my ordering here. Let's at least draft from the chapel, because that's what we were going to do, right? And that in the worst case is going to cost us 2 steps, and maybe everything will be okay. And, okay. Okay. Everything is good. Our experiment was also successful, but that just gets us extra dice. Okay. What do we do now? Do we take a sauna? I think so. Because now, if we're taking an archived floor plan, we're only doing it to try to take a stab at getting a master bedroom. Or to get a workshop. I take that back. It could be that we're trying to get a workshop, right? So, actually, what is the right pick here? What is the right pick? Because now we have a key, and if we wanted to, we could just go through the drawing room. The drawing room would get us access to a safe that I could try my different code combinations on. But also, I could just get the tomorrow room and go ahead and... oh, you know what else I could do? The chronograph lets me rewind. If I do a redraw here, I should do at least one redraw, because if I don't like what I get, I can rewind, right? That's how you use the chronograph. Let's do that, because we have to spend these dice at some point, right? Let's spend one reroll. And that gives us patio and servants' quarters. So now we just go ahead and we rewind, right? Now is when we go back and we take either the sauna. We probably just take the sauna. Because yes, I would like to try out safe codes in the drawing room, but that is a common room. And there's a good chance that we'll get it tomorrow. And I don't really feel super confident about these. I took a bunch of wild stabs at dates in the boudoir safe, and none of them paid off. So I'm not super enthusiastic about trying to go for that with the drawing room. So yeah, we just back up and we get the sauna. That's what we do. Rewind. That's a cool effect. That's really interesting. So, oh, what? Dude, it has an even greater effect, or an even more, it has more that it does, because it doesn't just rewind the last draft. It could potentially re-roll which floor plan is archived. Are you serious? So now we can just take a mailroom instead of a sauna. I think I do that. The extra steps have been nice. You know, without the sauna, we wouldn't be where we are today. So the sauna is not to be frowned upon, even when you already have an apple orchard. But we did pass a kitchen, and we don't have running shoes. And we didn't do anything with the nursery. So I think the mailroom is the more consequential. It lets you get a compass. You can get access to just a regular compass. So I think I like taking the mailroom. That's crazy that it re-rolls the archived floor plan folder. Which one of those floor plans is actually covered up? Okay, we take the mailroom, and now we have a 45-room house. I don't see any reason for us to go in the mailroom. We don't have a magnifying glass, and we already explored all that stuff anyways with the magnifying glass. We know that somehow, in some world, we're supposed to get our hands on something that creates fire. No idea what that could be. Maybe we'll find that in the trophy room. We actually got offered the trophy room, but we were one gem short. Okay, nothing else to be done but go and draft the other last room. And then that's probably going to do it, because I don't think I have steps for anything else. I don't think I can get anywhere else unless there's like a magic, cupcake that somehow gives me 30 steps. I think otherwise we are just drafting this door, and it's a good thing. It's a good thing that we got that. Oh, the room from the chapel being unlocked. Oh my god, I can't imagine how sad I would have felt if I had just run out of keys. We had so many opportunities. I would have... That key in the commissary that only cost 5 gold, I almost so regretted not picking that up. Because I don't know where these keys spread from the locker room are. I have no clue, and we're so low on steps. It might have just been the end. But it's not. And guess what that means? 45 rooms is here. We even get a clock tower. Look at that. Now, with that said, that is a code check. Shit, that is a code check. Okay. A code check with one of these more fancy items. A code check with a gear wrench. Man, we have actually 5 different rare items, don't we? The telescope, the gear wrench, the pendant, the chronograph, and the ornate compass. What would you check? This is where you want to have the code check, though. And I think I will take it because the clock tower here is okay. I guess we have a break room. Oh, that's actually a shout. I didn't realize I forgot we had a break room. Can we even make it back there? If we take a code check, we would be down to 10 steps, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, we would not be able to make it back to the break room. Dang it. So we don't get a key card tomorrow. Unless we don't take a code check, and then maybe we can make it back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we could take a clock tower and just go back to the break room and call it a day. We would actually exhaust ourselves entering the break room. We would have 3 tomorrow rooms then at that point, and we would get 3 keys to start tomorrow. I forget. I almost forgot. We can just redraw, right? We always at least redraw here to see. Actually, did we get back up to 2 dice? Did we trigger our experiment again? Does that mean that this is a drawing room? That's probably what that means. But we get to redraw here no matter what, right? And we know that one of these, we know what these are, so when we go back, the archive floor plan may have moved. But we at least redraw once. Laundry room, huh? That doesn't do anything for us at this point. And there's no reason to take a furnace, so I don't think we're taking anything from this. We're rewinding. Or we would redraw, right? But the rewind, I presume, only goes back 1 set of picks. So I think I would rather take either a coat check or a clock tower as opposed to redrawing 1 more time. We're guaranteed to get at least 1 more tomorrow room. So let's rewind. Now, it's a laboratory, in fact. So where did we get the extra die from? Where did we get that? I'm not exactly sure how we picked up an extra, because I thought, it doesn't refund your die when you go back with the chronograph, right? So somehow, I lost track of exactly how that happened. But now I think we could actually redraw again, couldn't we? And then the chronograph would let us go back again, would it not? Is that how it works? Let me double check the text on the chronograph here. While drafting, you may rewind time after drawing new floor plans. I think we could do this again. Correct? I would look pretty silly here if our chronograph doesn't work the way I think it does. But I feel like that's what we're supposed to do, is just look at our... Otherwise, this die is just completely going to waste, right? Let's redraw, and I hope I'm not a dummy here. There we go. Okay, it shows up. Okay, and once again, these don't do anything for us. So it's going to be... I don't want to take the risk on the archive floor plan here. We rewind, and we got at least usage out of all that stuff. So now it's code check versus laboratory. There's no reason to take the laboratory here. It's code check versus clock tower. I think we want to code check something. We're not so desperate to get a key card that we would pass up the chance to code check one of these valuable items. But the only question is which one? Probably a gear wrench. It's been so tough for us to get our hands on a gear wrench. I think I would do that, and then we'll see what the moon pendant does, right? The luck of the moon pendant will dictate what we end up with right away tomorrow. But guaranteeing that the gear wrench is somewhere within our draft. We know the code check doesn't show up as often as we would like when there's an item in there. It's not like the mailroom. But just having access to that gear wrench, knowing that it's there somewhere, because it's just so hard to get it otherwise. That's what we do. And then I think that's the end. There's really nothing else to be done unless I can make it back to the office. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I can't even make it back to the office. So I don't think there's anything else to be done. I think that's where we wrap it up. Let's take the code check. Let's do that. And let's... Wait a minute. The trophy is here now. It's not waiting for us the moment we get in the house tomorrow. It's here now. The full house trophy for drafting a room in every single open slot in your house. Let's go! Our second trophy. And hopefully we'll be able to check that out in the trophy room in the not too distant future. Perfect. Oh, that's cool that it shows up right here and now. I mean, I guess that meant we had to step into this room to pick that up, didn't we? I suspect it would go to the, you know, if you were out of luck, if we had drafted the clock tower with 1 step left, there's no way the game, you know, we'd have to go into the clock tower to get our trophy, but then we would be at 0 steps, and so we would be exhausted by the time we get up the steps to get our trophy. They would have to send the trophy to the entrance hall the next day, wouldn't they? Gear wrench. It's going in. That's the one. And then we're gonna see what happens with this moon pendant. That's gonna be it, right? Tomorrow you'll start with 2 of the items in your inventory. I wish I could get back to, I wish I had steps to make it back to the trading post one last time, because I would love to like whittle down my inventory, but you know, that's just how the draft played out. So that is where we're going to wrap up this installment of Blueprints. Thank you, as always, for hanging out with me to the end of the video. There's a key right here, dude. I never had to worry at all. There's a freaking key standing right here in the goddamn, sitting right here in the freaking locker room. But of course, if you did enjoy the video, please do consider doing the YouTube thing and hitting those buttons down below. It helps a ton. And man, day 21 turned out to be a very, I mean, look at that. We filled up every single room, guys. Look at how pretty that is. We're going to look at our summary here in just a second. I wanted to just head quickly to the observatory one last time before we run out of steps, just to see if we'd use, okay, so we would be able to get an additional proc. It doesn't, I must have misunderstood what happened with the first time that I had this spyglass telescope. It doesn't matter when you get the observatory, you just need to come back here at some point to be able to get, it must have been the fact that we had the Southern Cross the first time, and I was like, ooh, we got a second Southern Cross, yip, yahoo. No, you can get a second set of rewards, no matter what. So, okay, that's not the worst. It's not the worst of the rare items. We just didn't get to make a whole lot of use of it this run, but that's where we're calling it a day. Nothing else to be done. The foundation as well. Oh, we came so close. If I had just known, if I had just taken the chapel way back when, but who knows, maybe I wouldn't have had the chapel to draft every single room in the house. So you live with what happens, and we'll call it a day in the observatory. It's not quite the planetarium. It's the next best thing though. And there it is. Our red shopping center as our first house that meets all 45 rooms. 8 items found, 159 steps taken, and the 1 new room. The foundation has been drafted. We've also seen a new room. We'll hope to pick up that trophy room next time. But yeah, we didn't get the best commissary, unfortunately. If things had gone differently in the commissary, who knows how the draft might have steered. It really is a remarkable game. All the various layers of decision making that steer your draft, and that's why it's so much fun to get a new day started every single frickin' time. I love now that the security room is a laboratory. So many experiments to be done. A bit of a bummer that nothing panned out with the boudoir safe. More safes to try. Hopefully one of these dates will stick someday. I guess we have that 1 new date to try as well in the boudoir, 11/5, the provisional air date. So many things still to do on day 22, unintentional rhyme. Either way, we will see what happens then. Thank you all very much for joining me, and I hope to see you in the next one.